Chapter 1428. The desert was completely destroyed. Lin Tian stood in the center, his body stained with blood, but there was a smile on his face. With the 5 heaven-shaking thunders incantation and his combat strength, he had passed through the immortal realm, heavenly tribulation, without using any weapons. Oh, I forgot to use the tribulation lightning to refine the immortal Emperor Pagoda. He suddenly thought of something. Buzz! In the sky, auspicious clouds gathered, revealing 7 different lights that intertwined with a sacred aura. In the next moment, the 7-colored auspicious clouds moved slightly, and a large amount of 7-colored light fell, enveloping Lin Tian. In an instant, Lin Tian's injuries began to heal at a speed visible to the naked eye, and his essence, energy, and spirit rose rapidly. In the distance, Jiang Luoluo heaved a sigh of relief. He finally passed. Lin Tian had gone through 18 rounds of heavenly tribulation in a row, and every single one of them was terrifying. Even though Lin Tian had mastered the 5 heavenly lightning shock incantation that could interfere with the heavenly tribulation, he was still injured repeatedly, and his body was shattered several times. She had been on tenterhooks all this while. Now that Lin Tian had truly passed the heavenly tribulation and the rainbow-colored auspicious clouds gathered, she could finally relax. In the center of the desert, Lin Tian was enveloped by the 7-colored light. At this moment, he circulated the Heart Sutra of Sun, causing his injuries to heal faster, and his essence, energy, and spirit to rise faster. He also used the 7-colored light to refine his body and spirit. In the blink of an eye, 15 minutes had passed. The 7-colored auspicious clouds in the sky slowly dispersed, and his injuries were healed. At the same time, his essence, energy, and spirit had reached a peak, and he was like a blazing furnace. Early stage immortal realm, he muttered to himself. He muttered to himself while a wisp of deep bright light flashed through his eyes. At this moment, he clearly sensed the changes in himself. His body, divine energy, sea of consciousness, soul, and various other aspects had become extremely strong, and it was an enormous improvement when compared to the Emperor Void Realm. Among them, the changes in his body were the most special. His flesh and blood had become countless times purer than glass, and there were strands of light intertwined on the surface, making him truly untainted. Most importantly, he felt that his body now had an additional divine power, as if his lifespan had withered, but his body would never decay under the years. This is the immortal realm, he muttered to himself, and the light in his eyes became even brighter. In the domain of the sempiternal realm, one's physical body would truly reach an indestructible state. Given his current perception, it was indeed true. He clenched his fist slightly and waved it lightly. Immediately, a deafening sound of thunder rang out, and the void was directly distorted. The power of the flesh shell was unparalleled. Amazing! At the edge of the desert, the purple-scaled fierce python's eyes flashed with surprise when it saw this scene. It clearly felt that Lin Tian's physical strength was not much worse than that of an expert at the early stage of the eternal realm. Looking at Lin Tian from afar, its eyes flickered. Originally, the heavenly tribulation could only be triggered when one entered the immortal realm. However, Lin Tian also triggered the heavenly tribulation when he entered the immortal realm. Although the heavenly tribulation was supposed to have 9 rounds, Lin Tian had gone through 18 rounds. Now, Lin Tian had just entered the immortal realm, but his physical strength was no weaker than that of an expert in the eternal realm. All this really shocked the python. In the center of the desert, Lin Tian waved his fist a few more times to adapt to the physical body of the immortal realm. Then he stopped and calmed his breathing. Stepping out of the desert, he appeared at the edge of the desert beside Jiang Luoluo and the purple-scaled fierce python. Congratulations on successfully crossing the heavenly tribulation, Jiang Luoluo said. Then, she looked Lin Tian up and down and said, "It's not wrong to say that you're a monster. You actually triggered the heavenly tribulation when you entered the immortal realm. Moreover, it was such a terrifying heavenly tribulation. It's really incredible. How should I put it? I always feel that the heavens don't like you. Lin Tian was speechless. I've had this feeling for a long time. Moreover, you're not the first person to say this. In the previous heavenly tribulations, some people also said the same thing. He said. As soon as he said this, Jiang Luoluo and the purple-scaled fierce python were stunned. Then, they revealed a look of surprise. The previous heavenly tribulations? What do you mean? Jiang Luoluo stared at him. Don't tell me that you've been struck by the heavenly tribulation since you reached the immortal realm? Jiang Luoluo and the purple-scaled fierce python were not stupid. They instantly understood many things from Lin Tian's words. Well, the situation is a little worse than you think. Lin Tian said, I haven't been struck by the heavenly tribulation since I reached the immortal realm. I've been struck by the heavenly tribulation since I reached the immortal realm. This was not a secret. Therefore, he had nothing to hide. What? Jiang Luoluo and the purple-scaled fierce python were stunned again. According to Lin Tian's words, they guessed that Lin Tian might have experienced the heavenly tribulation since he reached the immortal realm. However, the reality was even more exaggerated than they had imagined. It turned out that he had attracted the heavenly tribulation since he reached the immortal realm. Are you still a human? Jiang Luoluo's eyes widened. Lin Tian was speechless. Young friend, you're really the purple-scaled fierce python, who was half a step away from the true immortal realm, was shocked at this time. It smiled bitterly. After dozens of breaths, it and Jiang Luoluo finally calmed down. He's really a monster, Jiang Luoluo whispered. Lin Tian raised his hand and gave her a knock on the head. This little girl was addicted to calling him a monster. Then he looked at the purple-scaled fierce python and said with a smile, Senior, let's go to the 3 great inheritances in this world. Now that he had passed the heavenly tribulation of the immortal realm and reached the immortal realm, it was time for him to go to the purple amplified god sect, the Fan family of the remote antiquity, and the Xian Luo immortal palace. He would not let go of being hunted by these inheritances. The purple-scaled fierce python laughed. Okay, let's go. Then, the 3 of them walked together in the void toward a fixed direction. Soon, half an hour had passed. They arrived at a vast group of immortal mountains. As far as the eye could see, the group of immortal mountains was extremely vast. Numerous golden and dazzling halls resided within them, and there were even numerous treasured islands that floated in midair. They were grand and imposing, and there were immortal flying beasts that circled about in the sky. Purple amplified god sect. Lin Tian narrowed his eyes. The purple amplified god sect, the Fan family of the remote antiquity, and the Xian Luo immortal palace were the 3 strongest inheritances in the purple amplification planet. The location of their sects was naturally not a secret. They had arrived at the location of the purple amplified god sect. It said that the ancestor of this great sect was a true immortal realm powerhouse. There should be a complete true immortal realm killing array in the sect. With a complete true immortal realm killing array and a true immortal weapon, it can kill almost anyone below the true immortal realm. Will there be any problem if we go in like this? Jiang Luoluo whispered. Among the 3 of them, the purple-scaled fierce python was the strongest. Under normal circumstances, it could sweep across the entire purple amplification planet and be invincible. However, if they were to break into an inheritance with a complete true immortal weapon and a true immortal realm killing array, their lives would be in danger. Don't worry, I'm quite proficient in array Dao. With Senior Purple Python's half-step true immortal demonic power and my array Dao, a true immortal realm killing array is nothing. Lin Tianan Dao. He had already thought of the problem that Jiang Luoluo was worried about, but he didn't care at all. With his attainments in array Dao and the purple-scaled fierce python's half-step true immortal demonic power, a true immortal realm killing array could be destroyed in the blink of an eye. I believe in your ability. Let's go, we'll kill our way in. The purple-scaled fierce python laughed, looking very forthright. Let's go. Lin Tian also laughed. Then, the 3 of them stepped into the immortal mountains in front of them and went straight ahead. In the blink of an eye, they were outside the purple amplified god sect. Who's there? Like all the other sects, there were several powerful disciples guarding outside the purple amplified God sect, each of them holding a golden battle spear. At this time, seeing Lin Tian's group approaching, one of them stepped forward with a battle spear in hand and asked coldly. However, in the next moment, when the purple amplified God sect disciple saw the appearance of Lin Tian's group, his face changed color directly. It's you. You. The disciple trembled. At the same time, the other purple amplified God sect disciples also saw the appearance of the three people, and they all trembled. Not long ago, the old ancestor of the purple evolved divine cult, the old ancestor of the Xian Luo immortal palace, and the old ancestor of the desolate Fan family, the three eternal realm existences who looked down on the purple evolution planet, had been killed in the divine garden. This news had long since spread throughout the entire purple evolution planet. Lin Tian and the other two's appearances were naturally known by the cultivators of this world. The disciples of the purple evolved divine cult naturally recognized the trio. Lin Tian didn't say anything. His pace didn't change as he walked straight into the purple amplified God sect with the purple-scaled fierce python and Jiang Luoluo. Yu. The purple amplified God sect disciples who were guarding this place trembled. They held their battle spears and retreated all the way. As the purple amplified God sect disciples who looked down on the purple amplified God sect, these people were usually very arrogant. However, at this time, their eyes were filled with fear because the ones who came here were Lin Tian's group, the strongest ancestor of their sect, an eternal realm existence, died in the hands of Lin Tian's group. Now that they saw Lin Tian's group, how could they not be afraid? How could they not be frightened? In the blink of an eye, these people retreated into the purple amplified God sect. Lin Tian's group also stepped into the purple amplified God sect. After entering the purple yin God sect, as far as the eye could see, there were many mystical and ancient buildings in this branch. There were immortal plants and precious trees everywhere, and the spirit energy in the air was shockingly dense. It was as if this place was located in an immortal land. It's worthy of being a sect founded by a true immortal. Lin Tian's eyes flashed with a glimmer of light. The moment he stepped into the purple evolved divine sect, he could feel the magnificence and extraordinariness of this sect. The scale of this sect was just too grand. It was like a small celestial realm, surpassing any inheritance he had ever seen before. There were many disciples and cultivators coming and going inside the purple amplified God sect. At this time, many people naturally noticed Lin Tian's group and saw the faces of Lin Tian's group. Then, everyone's expression changed greatly in an instant. Yu. The group of purple amplified God sect's disciples trembled. The three who killed the strongest ancestor of their sect had broken into this place. To read the latest novel, please visit Chapter 14:29. The disciples of the Purple Yin Divine Sect were terrified. Many of them trembled when they saw Lin Tian and the other two intruding into the sect. The three people who killed their eternal realm ancestor had broken into the Purple Yin Divine Sect at this time. Tong quickly informed the sect master and the supreme elders. A deacon said in a trembling voice. Immediately, some disciples rushed into the depths of the Purple Yin Divine Sect, trembling. Apparently, they were going to report to their superiors. Lin Tian glanced at the disciple of Ziyin who was rushing to report. He did not care and did not stop him. At the same time, he did not care about the other disciples and deacons in Ziyin Divine Sect. He followed the purple-scaled fierce python and Jiang Luoluo into the depths of the sect. Most of the supreme, genuine fairy weapons and resources were placed in the depths of the sect. So this is the inheritance of a sect in the outside world. The purple, yin divine python muttered to itself. It was born in the ancient immortal divine garden and had never been able to get out. Naturally, it did not know about the inheritance of a sect in the outside world. The purple yin divine sect here was the first sect it had seen since it started cultivating. Lin Tian could hear the purple yin divine python's muttering. He knew that it was curious because it had seen the inheritance of a sect in the outside world for the first time. He smiled and said nothing. The three of them walked in the purple yin divine sect and soon walked far away. Whoosh! 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 The sound of air breaking rang out. 12 figures rushed in from the purple yin divine sect. Each of them was full of energy. 3 of them were at the half-step eternal realm. 1 was at the peak of the immortal realm, and the other 8 were at the middle stage of the immortal realm. They were the 3 supreme elders of the purple yin divine sect, the sect master of the purple yin divine sect, and the 8 ordinary elders of this sect. "How dare you break in here?" a supreme elder of the purple yin divine sect said. He gritted his teeth and stared at Lin Tian and the other 2. His face was livid with anger and hatred. The most powerful person in the purple yin divine sect, an eternal realm immortal, died in the hands of this group of people. Lin Tian glanced at the person who spoke and the other big shots of this sect. His expression was calm. "Your purple evolved divine sect's old ancestor went to the divine garden to steal my divine pagoda's divine skill. Now, I am here to reap the fruits of your actions." He looked at the group of big shots from the purple evolved divine sect and said, "Hand over your true immortal artifacts and all your treasures as an apology. Then I will leave. Otherwise, I will raze this place to the ground and erase your purple evolved divine sect from the Z-Yin planet forever." His voice was very calm and not loud at all, but it instantly spread to every corner of the purple evolved god sect. For a moment, the group of ordinary disciples of the purple yang divine sect shuddered. On the other hand, the eyes of the 12 great figures of this branch were burning with anger, and they all exuded a shocking coldness and killing intent. "Not only did you kill our patriarch, but you also want to steal our genuine immortal weapons and resources, and even want to destroy our sect? Where do you think this is? So what if you have a half-step true immortal by your side? If it were any other place, we might be afraid, but right now, we are in the purple yin divine sect's territory. In this place, all those below the true immortal realm were ants. Whoever comes will die." The eyes of the 12 great figures were filled with coldness. "Activate the formation," one of them roared. Immediately, the 12 of them formed hand seals at the same time. The purple evolved divine sect shook violently. Strands of murderous runes emerged, covering the entire purple evolved divine sect. A terrifying murderous intent that could shatter the heavens and shatter the earth rushed out. With a rumbling sound, the entire world seemed to be on the verge of collapsing. A genuine immortal level killing formation, tyrannical and terrifying. This, Jiang Luluo couldn't help but tremble. She grabbed Lin Tian's sleeve tightly, because this killing intent was truly terrifying. The 10 great figures of the purple yin divine sect stood together, each of their eyes cold. "A half-step true, immortal beast, our patriarch died at your hands. If it were any other place, we wouldn't be able to do anything. But since you've come here, today, you won't be able to escape death." The 3rd grand elder of this branch stared at the purple-scaled python, and his voice was bone-chilling. Then he looked at Lin Tian. "And you, even though our patriarch was killed by that beast, the main reason was you. He died because of you. You've caused a great loss to our sect. Later, you'll be tortured to death by endless torture." Looking at Lin Tian, this person's eyes were filled with hatred. He only thought that their patriarch died because of Lin Tian, but did not think that their patriarch died because he wanted to snatch Lin Tian's divine pagoda technique and kill Lin Tian. It was clearly your old ancestor who shamelessly came to steal the treasure and kill people, only to be killed instead. Now, you actually have the nerve to complain with hatred? How can your skin be so thick? You really don't care about face at all. Jiang Luluo's heart palpitated because of the genuine immortal level killing formation of the purple yin divine sect, but she still couldn't help but speak up. The grand elder of the purple yin divine sect who spoke up suddenly turned pale, and then became even more gloomy. "Activate the foundation immortal treasure," this person said coldly. Boom! The 12 great figures of this branch took action again. In the blink of an eye, they summoned a ball of immortal light and rushed out from the depths. In the next moment, the immortal light dispersed, revealing its shape. It was a treasured furnace covered with Tao patterns and immortal seals. The immortal light around it was true immortal chi, and the aura it emitted was extremely oppressive, as if a true immortal had walked out of seclusion. Our sect's strongest true immortal artifact, the purple yin furnace. In this place, many disciples of the purple yin divine sect were excited, and their eyes fell on the treasured furnace that rushed out from the depths of the great sect. This treasured furnace was left behind by their founding ancestor of the purple yin divine sect, and it truly had the power to destroy everything. Lin Tian raised his head and looked at the purple yin furnace that flew out from the depths of the purple yin divine sect, and his eyes were intertwined with rays of light. This is a true immortal artifact. It's really extraordinary. He muttered to himself. True immortal chi intertwined outside the purple yin tower, and he felt the fluctuation of the immortal Tao law, which was very shocking. Boom! Divine power rolled, shaking all directions, and the sound waves. It was deafening. The 12 great figures of the purple yin divine sect stood together, and at this time, directly merged the purple yin furnace with the true immortal killing array, because they knew that the purple scaled python beside Lin Tian was very terrifying. And only by using the true immortal artifact purple yin furnace and the true immortal killing array at the same time could they possibly deal with the purple yin python. Kill! The leading grand elder of the purple yin divine sect shouted. After the purple yin furnace and the true immortal killing array merged, the killing light produced by the purple yin furnace directly pressed down on Lin Tian and the other two. The void in all directions was completely sealed in an instant. The primordial pagoda and that sex thunder technique in your body, thank you for personally bringing it here. Later, we will slowly take it out. The sect leader of this sect stared at Lin Tian. His eyes were like a vulture, like a poisonous snake. Boom! Divine power boiled, and the killing light emitted by the purple yin furnace and the true immortal killing array suppressed Lin Tian and the other two in the blink of an eye. The killing power was extremely shocking. Lin Tian looked at the killing light pressing down on him, and he could feel how terrifying it was, but there was no trace of fear on his face. "Senior, please lend me your demonic power," he said to the purple-scaled python. The purple-scaled python nodded, and without the slightest hesitation, the demonic power of the half-step true immortal level continuously entered Lin Tian's body. Because of this matter, Lin Tian had mentioned before that he needed to borrow its power to break the array. The purple-scaled python's demonic power was gray, and it surged into Lin Tian's body, filling Lin Tian's entire body in a flash, making Lin Tian feel like he was omnipotent, and his essence, chi, and spirit soared. He looked at the true immortal killing array's power and the purple yin furnace that were pressing down from the sky, and his hands quickly formed a seal, and the heavenly one-soul spell was directly operated to the limit, interweaving strands of formation seals and runes, and fiercely slapped above the sky. In the blink of an eye, these formation seals and runes collided with the true immortal killing array's power and the purple yin furnace that were pressing down from the sky. Chi! With a shattering sound, the true immortal killing array in the purple yin divine sect was immediately shattered, and its power was greatly reduced. Then, the sizzling sound continued to be heard, and in just a moment, the entire true immortal killing array collapsed, causing the power of the true immortal killing array to completely disappear. Only the purple yin furnace, which was a true immortal weapon, continued to press down. For a moment, everyone's expression changed. Our sect's sect-protecting killing array is broken? How is this possible? Impossible! The disciples of the purple yin divine sect were shocked. The highest elder, the sect leader, and several other elders, as well as the 12 bigwigs, were also trembling violently. How is this possible? The true immortal killing array left by their sect's ancestor was unparalleled in power, but now it was destroyed in an instant. On the other side, Jiang Luoluo and the purple-scaled python were also shocked. This is really... The purple-scaled python's eyes twitched violently. Previously, Lin Tian had mentioned that he was proficient in Array Dao, and with its demonic power of half-step to true immortal level, the true immortal killing array of the purple yin divine sect was nothing. Although the python was convinced, It could not help but be shocked when it saw Lin Tian so easily destroy the true, immortal killing array of the Purple Yin Divine Sect with its demonic power. It was too extraordinary. Senior, take the Purple Yin Furnace. Lin Tian's voice was heard. The purple-scaled python's body shook, and it immediately came to its senses. Okay. As soon as it finished speaking, it raised its hand, and its demonic power of half-step to true immortal realm surged, and there was even a faint immortal Tao law intertwined in it. It turned into a true immortal handprint and grabbed at the Purple Yin Furnace. You don't even think about it. The 12 bigwigs of the Purple Yin Divine Sect also came to their senses at this time. Seeing the Purple Yin Python of half-step to true immortal realm trying to seize the Purple Yin Furnace, they were all shocked and angry. At the same time, they joined forces to control the Purple Yin Furnace, causing it to emit a monstrous immortal power. Humph! With a cold snort, Lin Tian made his move. He activated the 5 thunders sky-shaking art and dense silver lightning intertwined. In an instant, the place evolved into a sea of thunder, and the 12 bigwigs of the Purple Yin Divine Sect were shrouded in it. This was a peerless divine skill deduced from the heavenly tribulation. It was so powerful that it immediately made the 12 bigwigs' faces change. In the next moment, the 12 bigwigs were sent flying by the sea of thunder at the same time, and they all coughed up blood. Chapter 1430. The purple amplification furnace was covered with Tao runes, and strands of genuine immortal qi were intertwined around it, causing the void to distort inch by inch. Very strong. Lin Tian's eyes flashed. At this time, holding the purple amplification furnace, he could clearly feel its extraordinariness. He felt that with his current cultivation realm, holding the purple amplification furnace, he could almost fight with an early-stage eternal realm expert. The heritage of our clan, the immortal furnace, actually, how could this be? Inside the Purple Amplification Divine Sect, a group of Purple Amplification Divine Sect disciples trembled, their eyes full of panic. First, the genuine immortal level protective array was crushed, and now, even the most powerful immortal treasure was taken away. And all of this happened in an instant. Damn it! Return it! The 12 big shots of the Purple Amplification Divine Sect were all shocked and angry. One of the elders directly rushed towards Lin Tian. Lin Tian glanced at the man indifferently. He operated the 5 thunder sky shocking technique, and directly a silver lightning fell from the sky. With a puff, the elder of the Purple Amplification Divine Sect was smashed on the spot. Only his spirit was barely preserved, but it was also full of cracks. Obviously, he was only one step away from death. No wonder he has been struck by the heavenly tribulation all the way until now. It's really terrifying. Zhang Luoluo shrank her neck. Lin Tian had just stepped into the immortal realm, and the elder of the Purple Amplification Divine Sect was at the middle stage of the immortal realm. But such a casual silver lightning almost destroyed the elder of the Purple Amplification Divine Sect. It was really terrifying. Not only her, but the other big shots of the Purple Amplification Divine Sect were also shocked by Lin Tian's combat strength. Amazing! The purple-scaled fierce python also praised with heartfelt admiration. Lin Tian smiled and handed the Purple Amplification Furnace to the purple-scaled fierce python. Senior, refine this immortal furnace first. Then, with your cultivation and this genuine immortal weapon, it will be easier for us to break through the other 2 inheritances. All right. The violet-scaled python roared with laughter. Its natural disposition was forthright, and it wasn't pretentious at all. It directly took the violet amplification furnace that Lin Tian handed over and branded its own divine sense on it. Little friend, you can take the other treasures of this great sect, the true, immortal artifacts of the other 2 inheritances and other hidden treasures. This violet amplification furnace is enough for me. All right. Lin Tian nodded with a smile. He was not pretentious. Moreover, with the purple-scaled python's cultivation, the resources of the Purple Evolved God sect, the Xian Luo Immortal Palace, and the Fan family were useless to the purple-scaled python except for the genuine immortal weapon. Now that the purple-scaled python had obtained a genuine immortal weapon from this place, there was no need for it to obtain anything else. In the next moment, he tilted his head and looked at the three supreme elders of the purple evolved god sect, the sect leader Yin, and the 8 ordinary elders. I've said it before. Hand over the genuine immortal weapon and resources as an apology, and I'll leave as if nothing happened. Otherwise, I'll raze this place to the ground and make your purple yin divine sect disappear completely. Unfortunately, you chose the latter, he said. He took a step forward, and in the next moment, there was a loud boom. Thunder roared and lightning intertwined, and the whole sky darkened. The power of the thunder shrouded the entire area, as if a heavenly tribulation was pressing down. In an instant, the cultivators of the purple evolved god sect trembled again. They were all frightened by the power of the thunder. Even the three supreme elders who were half a step to the eternal realm could not help but tremble. What do you want to do? You want to kill us and destroy our inheritance? Don't go too far. One of the supreme elders of the purple evolved god sect spoke. He had cultivated for countless years and was about to enter the immortal realm, but at this time, his voice was trembling and his face was very ugly. Go too far? Lin Tian's expression was indifferent. He walked toward the 12 people at a steady pace. If you were in my position, if you had the ability to kill me, I would have been a corpse. No, there wouldn't even be a corpse left. In comparison, I gave you a chance to live in the beginning, a chance to continue preserving your inheritance, but you didn't cherish it. Since you don't cherish the chance to live and preserve your inheritance, then accept your fate. Now, don't lick your faces and say that I'm too ruthless. It's a disgrace. You, the supreme elder of the purple evolved god sect, was livid and looked very ugly. For a moment, he could not find any words to refute. The other 11 big shots also looked ugly, and they all clenched their hands tightly. Lin Tian took a step forward. With a boom, the sky was filled with thunder and lightning, and dozens of lightning bolts fell together. These lightning bolts were silver and intertwined with extremely strong thunder aura. They shrouded the 12 big shots of the purple evolved god sect and attacked them at the same time. You, insolent! Fight him! The 12 big shots' faces were ugly. They knew that Lin Tian was going to kill them and destroy the purple evolved god sect no matter what. At this moment, they all attacked together. They all supported the powerful secret techniques of the purple evolved god sect and attacked Lin Tian in a mighty manner. Suddenly, the 12 people's attacks combined, and their divine power was violent, shaking the void in this place. The purple-scaled python coldly snorted, and a large amount of demonic light appeared. The aura of a half-step true immortal suppressed everything in an instant, causing the 12 big shots of the purple evolved god sect to tremble. The divine power outside their body became chaotic in an instant. Senior, you don't have to do it. I'll do it alone, Lin Tian said. After stepping into the immortal realm, he wanted to test his current combat strength against the 12 people of the purple evolved god sect. The purple-scaled python was slightly stunned, and then nodded. It naturally guessed what Lin Tian was thinking at this time. It immediately withdrew its majestic demonic power and quietly watched from the side. It was only ready to attack when Lin Tian's life was in danger. He just stepped into the immortal realm, and he wants to fight against 12 people alone. There are 3 half-step, eternal-level experts among them. Is this a problem? Zhang Luoluo whispered. Boom! Thunder rumbled. Lin Tian stepped into the void, surrounded by silver lightning. It was the Lord of Thunder Punishment who was patrolling the world. He raised his hand, and dozens of lightning bolts fell from the sky. Just like before, they attacked the 12 people at the same time. The 12 big shots of the purple evolved god sect glanced at the purple-scaled python not far away. Seeing that it had no intention to help, they stared at Lin Tian, and their eyes became cold again. I'll kill you, an elder said. His aura was much weaker than the others, and he was the one who was almost killed by Lin Tian's lightning. After saying that, he was the first to rush out. He activated the Great Path Law and Divine Sense secret skill at the same time, dodging the silver lightning bolts that fell on him. Then, He used the Great Path Law and Divine Sense secret skill to attack Lin Tian's head. At the same time, the other 11 people also attacked. From the beginning, they attacked with fatal moves, and their eyes were sinister. At this moment, Lin Tian had already made up his mind to kill. On the other hand, their true immortal level killing formation had been destroyed, and their purple amplification furnace had been taken away. They were already very clear that they would definitely die today, because there was a half-step true immortal level expert following Lin Tian. With such an expert standing behind Lin Tian, they who no longer had the true immortal level killing formation and the purple amplification furnace had no way of surviving. Therefore, at this moment, all of them were ruthless and used all their strength. They were determined to kill Lin Tian before they died. For a moment, the 12 Immortal Realm experts moved together, and the aura of destruction covered Lin Tian's surroundings. The scene was horrifying. Lin Tian's eyes were cold. Naturally, he knew what these people were thinking at this time, but he was not afraid at all. With a boom, he directly activated the 5 heaven-shaking thunders incantation to the extreme. In an instant, a vast sea of lightning appeared in this place. Silver lightning interweaved in the space like rain, and every bolt was extremely terrifying. In the next moment, his figure disappeared in an instant, and like a ghost, he appeared in front of an ordinary elder among the 12 people. This person's expression changed. He was the one whose body was shattered by Lin Tian's silver lightning. When he attacked Lin Tian, he had been staring at Lin Tian. He did not see Lin Tian at all, but Lin Tian appeared in front of him just like that. Lin Tian's expression was indifferent. He directly slapped out, and silver lightning wrapped around his palm and fingers, and landed on this person's body. Ah! This person screamed. His body was torn into pieces, and his spirit was also shattered in an instant. 7th Elder. Sect leader Zi Yin was shocked. The other 10 big shots also changed their expressions. They were originally attacking Lin Tian, and they were all staring at Lin Tian. Even so, Lin Tian disappeared from their sight in an instant. Then, in the next moment, one of their middle-stage Immortal Realm experts was killed. Everything happened too fast, and it made them tremble slightly. Damn it! Kill! The 11 of them were shocked and enraged. At this moment, they locked onto Lin Tian with their divine senses and unleashed their extreme speed. As they dodged the silver lightning that filled the sky, they once again attacked Lin Tian. Their killing power was extremely strong. Seeing the 11 people coming at him, Lin Tian's expression did not change. In the next moment, he disappeared again and appeared in front of another person among the 11. This person turned pale with fright. As the 3rd elder of this branch, he was also at the half-step Immortal Realm. He did not see how Lin Tian moved to his side. How did you boom? Lin Tian raised his hand. Silver lightning emerged, turning into a thunder sword and piercing into this person's sea of consciousness. With a puff, this person's body exploded. His sea of consciousness collapsed, and his spirit was also destroyed in an instant. Damn it! What's going on? How did you move? A grand elder of this branch couldn't help but roar. The other 9 people also looked at Lin Tian in both shock and anger. Just now, they had locked on Lin Tian with their divine senses. Even if Lin Tian was fast, they should have sensed something. However, they did not sense Lin Tian's movement at all. It was not logical. Lin Tian looked at the 10 people and took another step. In a flash, he appeared in front of another middle-stage Immortal Realm expert, Elder Zi Yin. You puff! Thunder rumbled. As Lin Tian waved his hand, the man was smashed into pieces. Chapter 1431. The dense silver lightning intertwined into a sea of thunder with blood splashing. In the blink of an eye, 3 elders at the middle stage of Immortal Realm were killed. Everyone in this branch trembled in fear. Damn it! The 3rd great elder of this branch roared. His divine thought was boiling as he locked onto Lin Tian. The mighty divine power of half-step to Eternal Realm violently rushed toward Lin Tian in the silver sea of thunder. At the same time, the other 8 bigwigs of this branch also roared. They pushed their powerful divine thought to the limit covering every corner in all directions. They locked on Lin Tian and attacked him crazily. For a moment, the space was boiling with a rumbling sound. The destructive power was won. They knew that they would die today. They just wanted to kill Lin Tian before they died and drag Lin Tian down with them. They were all crazy. Lin Tian snorted. He used the 5 heavenly thunders technique to create a sea of thunder. The silver lightning was dense. He didn't care about the 9 bigwigs of the purple yin sect. The next moment, he disappeared again and reappeared in front of another elder. The man's expression changed. You. He had pushed his divine thought to the limit and locked onto Lin Tian. However, he still couldn't see Lin Tian's movement. In a flash, Lin Tian was right in front of him. Boom! Thunder roared. Lin Tian was expressionless. He used the 5 heavenly thunders technique to create the Thunder God Fist and hit the man directly. Ah! The man screamed. His body was torn into pieces. His divine soul was barely preserved and fled into the distance. However, in the next moment, a thick silver lightning fell from the sky and smashed his divine soul into pieces. In the blink of an eye, 4 of the 12 bigwigs of the Purple Yin sect were killed. What? What a monster! Zhang Luo's eyes widened. Among the 12 great figures of the Purple Evolved God sect, the weakest was at the middle stage of the immortal realm. There were even 3 half-step immortal realm existences. Their combined battle strength was enough to sweep away anyone below the immortal realm. But now, Lin Tian, who had just stepped into the immortal realm, was able to fight against the 12 of them alone. He even killed 4 of them in the blink of an eye. In the Silver Sea of Thunder, there were only 8 of the 12 high-ranking figures of the Purple Evolved God sect left. All of them were shocked and furious. At this time, they were completely unable to catch the trajectory of Lin Tian's movements, as if they had become live targets for Lin Tian. This feeling made them feel uncomfortable and angry. You scampering thing, do you dare to fight me face to face? An elder roared. Lin Tian glanced at this person from within the sea of lightning. His expression was indifferent, and he didn't say anything. In a flash, he appeared in front of this person. The man trembled, shocked by the sudden appearance of Lin Tian. He couldn't help but take a step back. You clang! The silver divine thunder surged. Lin Tian pointed his sword, using the 5 Thunder Sky shocking art to evolve the Thunder God Slaying Sword, which directly shattered the vast sky. With a puff, the man was smashed into pieces on the spot. As soon as his spirit body escaped, Lin Tian caught it in his hand. With a move of the silver thunder, it was directly crushed into pieces. There were only 7 of the 12 high-ranking figures of the Purple Evolved God sect left, and they became even more furious. Bastard! The 7 of them stared at Lin Tian, and then rushed toward him again. Lin Tian looked at these people with an indifferent expression. He operated the 5 Thunder Sky shocking art. Silver lightning intertwined in this space, densely packed. He was in the middle of it, facing the 7 people rushing toward him. The next moment, he disappeared again and reappeared in front of another Elder Ziyin. He raised his hand and punched. There were wisps of lightning intertwining at the tip of his fist, which was a combination of his physical strength and thunder technique. Puff! This Elder Ziyin didn't even have time to dodge. He was directly smashed into pieces, and his blood splashed in the sky. Then, a large amount of silver lightning fell, shattering his divine soul. Again, Lin Tiandao. He didn't make any unnecessary movements and flashed like a ghost in the sea of lightning. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of another elder. He also ferociously struck down with a lightning fist, bringing along a large expanse of silver lightning and destroying this elder's body and soul. Damn! There were still 5 high-ranking figures left in this branch. They were all more furious, crazily storming toward Lin Tian, using all of their secret techniques. However, Lin Tian's movements in this sea of lightning were too strange. No one could capture his movements, and they couldn't even sense his movements. He easily dodged all of their attacks. In a blink of an eye, he appeared in front of another middle immortal realm expert of this branch. Endless lightning struck him. Ah! The man screamed. Under the peerless thunder technique, his body and soul were destroyed on the spot. 8 great elders, all. In this place, the ordinary disciples of the purple yin god sect were frightened. It hadn't been long, but Lin Tian had killed all 8 middle immortal realm elders of their branch. Ah! The 3 great elders of this branch and Headmaster Ziyin roared, their eyes bloodshot. For left, Lin Tian's voice was indifferent. Continue. Silver lightning weaved in all directions, creating a sea of lightning. In fact, it was a kind of realm divine ability of the 5 Thunder Sky shaking art. It was called the 5 Thunder God territory. In this 5 Thunder God territory, he could use any lightning to change his position. It was as if he was stepping on a space node. It was hard for anyone to capture his movements. They couldn't even sense the aura of his divine power when he moved. Only those whose cultivation base was much higher than his could do that. At this moment, he supported this Thunder God territory and stayed in this sea of lightning. It was like he was the master of this space. However, this 5 Thunder God territory consumed a lot of divine power. Even with his current cultivation base and divine power, he couldn't support this secret technique for a long time. "I'll kill all of you in 30 breaths," he said. As soon as he finished speaking, he took a step forward and disappeared through the sea of lightning. He appeared in front of Headmaster Ziyin and threw a punch. Dong! This punch not only combined the power of his immortal realm reincarnation physique and the 5 Thunder Sky shaking art's lightning power, but also the power of the Chaos Emperor Fist. It was comparable to a supreme divine ability. Headmaster Ziyan's expression changed. He saw how terrifying this punch was. With a roar, he supported more than 10 great Tao principles and performed the core divine ability of the Purple Yin God Sect to meet Lin Tian's punch. In the blink of an eye, the two collided. Crack! 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 The surrounding void shattered inch by inch. In the end, Headmaster Ziyin flew out and half of his body exploded. Lin Tian was unharmed. Looking at Headmaster Ziyin, who was flying out, he switched places with the silver lightning in the 5 Thunder God territory and appeared in front of Headmaster Ziyin in an instant. "You die." Lin Tian's voice was calm. The power of his flesh shell, the power of the Chaos Emperor Fist, and the lightning power of the 5 Thunder Sky shaking art combined to form another destructive punch. This time, Sect Leader Ziyin was forcefully shattered. His soul was also covered in cracks as he fled into the distance in a panic. Lin Tian's expression remained the same. He flicked his finger, and a silver lightning turned into a thunder sword. It arrived in the blink of an eye and shattered the divine soul. "You're the only ones left." He looked at the 3 supreme elders and formed a seal with one hand. He formed the Thunder Dragon Halberd and threw it out. With a whoosh, the Thunder Dragon Halberd was extremely fast. It appeared in front of the 3 supreme elders in an instant. "Break!" The 3 supreme elders of the Purple Yin Divine Sect roared. They activated their great divine powers and shattered the Thunder Dragon Halberd. However, at this moment, Lin Tian's figure stepped forward. Vast and mighty silver lightning enveloped the 3 men at the same time, attacking them indiscriminately. At the same time, he constantly changed his position with the help of the silver lightning in the Thunder territory, making it difficult for the 3 men at the half-step Eternal Realm to track his movements. Their divine powers and secret skills were all ineffective. Puff! After a while, the 3rd Supreme Elder of the Purple Yin Divine Sect was injured. He was smashed into pieces by Lin Tian. Blood splattered all over the sky. Then, Lin Tian stepped forward and operated the 5 Thunder Sky shaking art to the limit. He summoned hundreds of silver lightning bolts and directly drowned the Supreme Elder's divine soul. Ah! A scream rang out. The Supreme Elder's divine soul was shattered, and his body and spirit were destroyed in an instant. This Supreme Elder of the half-step to Eternal Realm was killed by him, just like that. He has just entered the Immortal Realm, but he's already invincible in this realm, and that thunder skill of his is too terrifying. Zhang Luoluo was shocked. In her vision, Lin Tian turned into a silver thunder sea. His whole body was covered with silver divine thunder. He really looked like the thunder god. The power of each lightning bolt made her heart palpitate. There are two more? In front. Lin Tian tilted his head and looked at the last two supreme elders of the Purple Yin Divine Sect. He stepped forward and pressed forward. Boom! He formed a seal with his hands, and the sea of thunder boiled. The 5 heaven-shaking thunder incantation was activated to the maximum. The Thunder Dragon Halberd and the Silver Lotus Tiger Slash appeared at the same time. They both contained a terrifying destructive power and rushed toward the two of them. At the same time, he moved with the help of the lightning in the Thunder Sea. The reincarnation map of the King's territory was supported and merged with the Great Way Law to form a reincarnation map of the Great Way. He really exerted his strongest battle strength and enveloped the 2 supreme elders of the half-step to eternal realm. Kill! The last 2 supreme elders of the Purple Yin Divine Sect roared. Their eyes had already turned red. At this time, they joined forces and madly attacked Lin Tian. In the blink of an eye, the 2 sides collided and shattered the void. Bang! Bang! 2 figures flew out horizontally. The last 2 supreme elders of the Purple Yin Divine Sect coughed up blood, and half of their bodies collapsed. On the other side, Lin Tian's body trembled a few times, and his face turned pale. He collided with 2 experts of the half-step to Eternal Realm head-on. Even as strong as he was now, he still suffered some injuries. Of course, it was only a minor injury. He moved his mind, and the nirvana of the sun automatically operated. This kind of injury was healed in the blink of an eye. Then he stepped forward. The 5 Thunder Sacred Realm boiled under his control. The dense silver lightning turned into silver thunder swords at this moment. Like a thunderstorm, they sealed off all directions and rushed toward the last 2 supreme elders of the Purple Yin Divine Sect. Puff! Puff! Blood splattered. The last 2 supreme elders of the Purple Yin Divine Sect did not have time to dodge and were directly smashed by the dense silver thunder swords. Their souls and bodies were tattered. They were shocked, angry, and frightened. Swoosh. Chapter 1432. The Purple Evolved God Sect, including 3 supreme elders who were half a step away from the Eternal Realm, Headmaster Zi Yin, who was at the peak of the Immortal Realm, and 8 ordinary elders at the middle stage of the Immortal Realm, had all died in battle. The entire sect quieted down in an instant. Headmaster, elders, supreme elders, all of them, inside the Purple Evolved God Sect, all the disciples were trembling in fear and panic. Their Purple Evolving God Sect had been overlooking the Purple Spill Planet for countless years. Their inheritance was endless, their background was deep, and their powerhouses were as numerous as clouds. They never thought that they would encounter such a situation one day. Just 3 people had broken into their sect and destroyed everything. The true immortal level sect protecting Killing Array had been destroyed. The true immortal artifact Purple Evolving Furnace had been stolen. Headmaster Zien and all the other immortal realm masters and above had been killed, and even the Eternal Realm Old Ancestor had been killed by these 3 people outside their sect. How could this be? The headmaster and the elders are dead. What about us? What will happen to us? These people were terrified. Lin Tian stood in the distance. At this time, he put away the 5 heavenly thunder spell and appeared beside Zhang Luluo and the purple scaled python. Isn't your combat strength a little too terrifying? It's so strong that it defies the heavens. Zhang Luluo looked at him with her eyes wide open. 12 experts were actually killed by Lin Tian alone in such a short period of time. It was truly a little shocking. If your combat strength isn't strong, how can you face the heavenly tribulation that came down one after another? You can't bear that kind of punishment for nothing. Lin Tian Dao, from the airborne realm until now, every time he stepped into a new realm, he had to suffer the destruction of heavenly tribulation. Although this process was pleasant, the benefits were undoubtedly huge. It was equivalent to being baptized by the power of heaven and earth many times more than other cultivators. In addition, he had the strongest reincarnation body. With such a combination, his combat strength was naturally far superior to other cultivators at the same level. Anyway, it's really amazing, the purple-scaled python said, and then asked Lin Tian, "Little friend, the sea of silver lightning intertwined with the sea of thunder. Is it a kind of domain magical ability? That is indeed the case. Lin Tian nodded. At the same time, he couldn't help but think that the purple-scaled python was worthy of being called a half-step true immortal realm expert. It actually saw through the 5 lightning divine territory that he had used just now, which was similar to a domain divine ability. Sure enough, the purple-scaled python nodded and said, "It's a very powerful technique." Not bad, just that it consumes a bit more divine power. Lin Tiandao. Powerful techniques often consume a lot of divine power. The purple-scaled python laughed. Lin Tian nodded. He naturally understood this. Then, he tilted his head and looked at the disciples of the purple yang divine sect. "What are you going to do with these people?" Zhang Luoluo asked. "The purple yin divine sect is going to be destroyed. After that, they can go wherever they want." Lin Tiandao. As he spoke, he glanced at the disciples of the purple yang divine sect and asked them to leave on their own. If anyone wanted to stay and resist, he would not show mercy. In this regard, the disciples of the purple yang divine sect naturally chose to leave. It was impossible for them to stay and seek death. In just a moment, all the disciples of the purple yang divine sect rushed out of the purple yang divine sect and quickly fled into the distance. They were afraid that Lin Tian would go back on his words and kill them. "They're running really fast," Zhang Luoluo muttered. Lin Tian did not care about the disciples of the purple yang divine sect who fled. He tilted his head and looked at the various divine palaces of the purple yang divine sect. "Let's go and get the treasures," he said. The purple yang divine sect's true immortal level formation was destroyed. The purple yang furnace, a true immortal level weapon, was taken away. All the big shots were killed, and the rest of the disciples fled. Now the sect was basically destroyed. He called Zhang Luoluo and the purple-scaled python to go into the depths of the sect. He opened the ancient divine palaces and divine pavilions to search for the treasures accumulated by the sect. Clang! A magnificent immortal palace was pushed open. There were many precious weapons on display. There were sabers, swords, spears, and all kinds of weapons. They were all intertwined with cold light and covered with Tao patterns. Many of the weapons were spontaneously making clanging sounds as if they were alive. They emitted an incomparably fierce, murderous aura, as if they were going to kill Lin Tian and the other two on the spot. Lin Tian glanced around and found that there were 5 eternal weapon-level precious weapons, dozens of spirit treasure-level precious weapons, hundreds of ancestral weapon-level precious weapons, nearly 1,000 primordial heavenly treasure-level precious weapons, and countless other levels of precious weapons. It could be said to be a real armory. The value of the precious weapons together was immeasurable and beyond imagination. It should be said that it is worthy of being the sect's inheritance created by a true immortal. Lin Tian's eyes flashed with a glimmer of light. He waved his hand and collected all the weapons in the treasury. "Next place," he said, and called Zhang Luoluo and the purple-scaled python to go to the other palaces of the sect. Soon, they found all kinds of treasures. There were too many to count, and most of them were extraordinarily valuable. Crack! A stone chamber was pushed open. Inside, there was a glimmer of light and extremely rich spiritual qi fluctuations intertwined. They were all Lingjing. Lin Tian glanced at them roughly and found that there were about 80 billion jin. "It's more than the total amount of Lingjing I have accumulated before," he muttered to himself. 80 billion caddies of spirit crystals, even to the current him, was considered a very valuable treasure. He put away all of these spirit crystals and then went to the other great halls of this branch and found a great many treasures. Among them were all kinds of precious pills that could increase one's cultivation, divine materials for refining weapons, and divine medicines that could prolong one's life. He put all of them away. Finally, he, Zhang Luoluo, and the purple-scaled python went to the scripture palace of the sect. There were many mysterious and unpredictable ancient scriptures and divine skills. The core of the scripture was the purple amplification immortal scripture, which was a true immortal-level ancient scripture and was extremely valuable. Well, it seems that all the valuable treasures have been taken. Are we leaving? Jiang Luoluo looked at Lin Tian and asked. The Purple Amplification Immortal Sect was rich and had many treasures. However, she was not surprised because her family was slightly better than the Purple Amplification Immortal Sect. She had seen all the resources in her family. In terms of knowledge, she was better than Lin Tian. There are still some things I need to take. Lin Tianandao looked at the purple-scaled python and said, Senior, please lend me your demonic power. Okay. The purple-scaled python was curious about what Lin Tian wanted to do. However, it did not hesitate and directly injected the half-step true immortal-level demonic power into Lin Tian's body. In the blink of an eye, Lin Tian's body was filled with majestic half-step true immortal-level power. It was also at this moment that Lin Tianyuan circulated the dragon burial scripture and directly broke open the surface of this lineage, revealing the underground world where its foundation was. A vast and powerful immortal formation was engraved inside, imprisoning numerous spiritual light dragons that were overflowing with spiritual energy. These spiritual light dragons were all divine veins, and there were about 900 of them. They were imprisoned here by a true immortal level array as the foundation of the Purple Amplification Immortal Sect. There was also a spiritual celestial pool under it. Its spiritual energy was much more powerful than the divine veins. 900 divine veins and a spiritual celestial pool. Lin Tian muttered to himself as his eyes lit up. He could not help but sigh. The Purple Amplification Ancient Star was indeed the central star of a star field. The Purple Amplification Immortal Sect on this ancient star alone had 900 divine veins. Adding all the inheritances on this ancient star, as well as the ownerless divine veins in other places, the number of divine veins in this star was at least hundreds of thousands, or even more than 1,000,000. It was really shocking and much more powerful than the 10 heavenly regions. In other words, the two could not be compared at all. He took a deep breath, and with the help of the half-step true immortal realm demonic energy of the purple-scaled python, he broke open the true immortal realm grand array that was sealing the 900 divine veins and the spiritual celestial pool. Then he used the dragon burial scripture to compress all 900 divine veins into small dragons that were about 1 inch long. Then he carefully took out the spiritual celestial pool and placed it in his origin small world. The spiritual celestial pool was many times more valuable than the 900 divine veins. It was almost comparable to the dragon essence of the ancestral dragon's vein he found in the 10 heavenly regions. You really didn't leave anything behind, Jiang Luoluo muttered. Jiang Luoluo muttered. Then she said, however, the value of this foundation is indeed very high. If it's not valuable, I'm too lazy to take it. Lin Tiandao said, Can we go now? Jiang Luoluo asked. Lin Tiandao nodded. He had taken all the valuable things in the Purple Evolved Divine Sect, so it was time to leave. He called out to Jiang Luoluo and the purple-scaled python and soared into the sky. He destroyed the place where this sect was established with a dense sword light. Then he flew in the sky and flew toward the western side of this ancient star. Not long after, he arrived outside another group of immortals. A group of strange palaces stood in the group of immortals. They were all magnificent. It was the Xian Luo Immortal Palace's establishment. Arriving at this place, he, Jiang Luoluo, and the purple-scaled python directly stepped into the group of mountains. They entered the Xian Luo Immortal Palace under the frightened gazes of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace's disciples. All the big shots of this sect jumped out. You killed our sect's ancestor. How dare you come here? What do you think the Xian Luo Immortal Palace is? Come here. Even if you have a half-step true immortal with you, you will still die. How dare you? The primordial divine pagoda and the thunder art that our ancestor couldn't get, but you personally delivered them. Very good, very good. The big shots of this sect's big shots had eyes as sharp as knives. Among them, the first supreme elder said coldly, activate the sect's killing array and sacrifice the Xian Luo immortal sword. Kill that half-step true immortal demonic beast and that little girl. His eyes fell on Lin Tiandao. As for him, suppress him first. After we get the primordial divine pagoda and the thunder art, we will cut him into pieces." As soon as he finished speaking, the big shots of this sect moved together and directly activated the immortal level killing array left by their sect's founder. The entire Xianluo Immortal Palace was shrouded by this terrifying killing array, trapping Lin Tiandao and the other two. Moreover, almost at the same time, a true immortal level immortal sword charged out from the depths of this lineage. The sword was covered with strange Dao patterns, and it emitted an extremely cold sword might. It was as if the slightest movement of the sword could shatter everything in the world. Boom! Chapter 1433. The Void Rumbled. The combination of the Xianluo Immortal Palace's true immortal-grade killing formation and the Xianluo sword, a true immortal-grade weapon, was simply too frightening. It completely sealed off every inch of the surrounding void. For a time, along with this terrifying killing intent and sword momentum, violent hurricanes swept up in this place. Lin Tian and the other two's hair and clothes fluttered wildly in the wind. However, their expressions did not change. "You guys are really obsessed with my primordial divine pagoda and the thunder art. Even Ancestor Xianluo, who is in the eternal realm, failed to snatch them from me. Yet, you guys are still thinking about it and want to kill me to snatch my treasures." Lin Tian laughed. The big shots of Xianluo Immortal Palace stared coldly at Lin Tian with killing intent and greed in their eyes. "You can only blame yourself for barging into this place. The divine treasures of heaven and earth belong to those who are capable. Xianluo Immortal Palace has been overlooking Xian Ancient Star for countless years. We are the uncrowned emperor of this world. The primordial divine pagoda and the thunder art should belong to us. You are just a rogue cultivator. You don't deserve to have them. Don't talk nonsense with him. Suppress him and take the primordial divine pagoda and the thunder art. Then, kill him to avenge our ancestor and use his blood and soul to defend the dignity of our sect." All of these important figures had emotionless expressions on their faces. "Suppress." The first Supreme Elder waved his hand, and the Xianluo Immortal Sword combined with the true immortal killing array pressed down on Lin Tian and the other two. The overbearing aura was vast and mighty, like a galaxy pressing down. Lin Tian raised his head and looked at the true immortal killing array and the Xianluo Immortal Sword hanging high in the sky. "Little friend, let me do it," the purple-scaled python said. Lin Tian nodded. "Then, I'll have to trouble you." "It's my pleasure," the purple-scaled python laughed. When the big shots of Xianluo Immortal Palace heard his words, they could not help but snort with disdain. "So what if you have reached the half-step true immortal realm? You can't block our true immortal killing array and true immortal weapon." Xianluo sneered. The purple-scaled python coldly glanced at this person. Then, it took a step forward. The demonic power of the half-step real, immortal realm surged out like a raging sea. Then, in the next moment, an immortal furnace flew out from his body. It was covered in Taoist patterns and instantly emitted boundless true immortal force. In an instant, the great figures of the Xianluo Immortal Palace shuddered, and their expressions changed. Purple amplification furnace. These people were shocked. Naturally, they recognized that this was the strongest true immortal artifact of the purple evolved divine sect. At the same time, the expressions of all the disciples of the Xianluo Immortal Palace changed, and all of them were astounded. The true immortal weapon of the purple evolved divine sect. How could it be in its hands? This is borrowed from the purple evolved divine sect? That's impossible. The old ancestor of the purple evolved divine sect was also killed by this man. How could he lend the supreme, genuine, immortal weapon to him? Could it be it was taken from the purple evolved divine sect? The disciples of the Xianluo Immortal Palace trembled. Boom! The aura of a true immortal rolled, and it was so powerful that it shook the void. The violet-scaled python took out the purple amplification furnace, causing it to emit an incomparably terrifying aura. Dense immortal Tao laws intertwined. It was unknown how many times stronger it was than the Xian Luo sword unleashed by the Xian Luo Immortal Palace. This was not because the Xian Luo Immortal Sword was inferior to the Purple Amplification Furnace. In fact, the two weapons were the same grade. The reason why the Purple Amplification Furnace was so much more powerful than the Xian Luo Immortal Sword was because the Purple Amplification Furnace was activated by the Purple Scaled Fierce Python, who was a half-step true immortal, while the Xian Luo Immortal Sword was only activated by a dozen immortal-level practitioners. Therefore, the Purple Amplification Furnace was naturally more powerful than the Xian Luo Immortal Sword. How could you have the true immortal artifact of the Purple Evolved Divine Sect? The great figures of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace all looked frightened. Originally, with the combination of the Xian Luo Sword and the true immortal level killing formation, they were confident that they could easily suppress Lin Tianyi and the others. But now, as the Purple Scaled Fierce Python released the Purple Amplification Furnace, which was of the same grade as the Xian Luo Sword, they panicked. With the Purple Scaled Fierce Python's half-step true immortal level cultivation and the Purple Amplification Furnace, the combination of their true immortal level killing formation and the true immortal level killing formation lost its deterrent power. In comparison, it was much weaker than the Purple Scaled Fierce Python with the Purple Amplification Furnace. Looking at the Purple Scaled Fierce Python and Lin Tian, the great figures of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace could not help but tremble. Lin Tian glanced at them indifferently and said nothing. "This is bad," Zhang Luoluo murmured. As soon as she finished speaking, an even more terrifying true immortal aura and the law of immortal Tao surged, shaking the heavens and splitting the earth. The Purple Amplification Furnace moved with the Purple Amplification Python in hand. With the cultivation base of a half-step true immortal, it directly activated the strongest power that a half-step true immortal could muster. It was like an active volcano erupting. In an instant, it caused the Xian Luo Immortal Palace's true immortal level killing formation and true immortal weapon to tremble. Then, with a series of cracking sounds, the true immortal level killing formation began to disintegrate. After 3 breaths, a corner of the true immortal level killing formation was torn apart by the Purple Scaled Fierce Python with the Purple Amplification Furnace. Then, it stepped forward and attacked the Xian Luo Sword with the Purple Amplification Furnace. Together, activate the Immortal Sword. The first Supreme Elder of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace shouted, frantically activating the Xian Luo Immortal Sword with the other great figures. However, the strongest among them was only a half-step to the Eternal Realm. How could they resist the Purple Amplification Furnace, a true immortal level weapon activated by the Purple Scaled Fierce Python? In a flash, they were all sent flying, spitting out mouthfuls of blood. The Purple Scaled Fierce Python pressed down with the Purple Amplification Furnace. Rich true immortal aura and the law of immortal Tao intertwined beside the Purple Amplification Furnace, directly suppressing the Xian Luo Immortal Palace's imprint on the sword. "Little friend, take this sword." With a wave of its hand, it threw the Xian Luo Immortal Sword, which had its imprint removed, to Lin Tian. Lin Tian raised his hand and caught the Xian Luo Immortal Sword, branding his divine soul imprint on the Immortal Sword. The Immortal Sword was 3 feet long, forged with special yin immortal divine iron. He injected a little divine power into it, causing the Xian Luo Immortal Sword to hum loudly. An extremely sharp sword force spread out, as if it wanted to split the heavens in two. "Good sword." A bright light flashed in his eyes. This Xian Luo Immortal Sword was really good. The Immortal Sword of my sect was how could this be? In this place, the disciples of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace were terrified. Lin Tian and the other 2 had only entered for a short while, but their sect's most powerful, genuine immortal artifact had been taken away. This was the most powerful treasure of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace. "Damn it, give it back." The big shots of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace were shocked and angry. The first Supreme Elder of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace rushed toward Lin Tian. "Humph!" The Purple Scaled Fierce Python snorted and waved its hand. A demonic light flashed and enveloped the person. Ah! The first supreme elder of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace screamed. His body and divine soul were annihilated on the spot. After all, this person was only a half-step to the eternal realm. How could he block the attack of a half-step genuine immortal realm expert? First supreme elder. Xian Luo's sect master was terrified. At the same time, the other two supreme elders and the other ordinary elders of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace were terrified and trembling. Yu, the second supreme elder of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace, looked at the purple-scaled fierce python and couldn't help but step back. The purple-scaled fierce python glanced at the second supreme elder and the other big shots of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace. It snorted and attacked again. It didn't use the purple amplification furnace this time. Instead, it waved its right hand, and a large amount of demonic light fell on the crowd. Ah! The second supreme elder of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace was hit by the demonic light and died on the spot. Then the screams continued. In the face of the demonic light of the half-step, genuine, immortal purple-scaled fierce python, these people couldn't resist at all. In just a moment, the Xian Luo Immortal Palace's sect master, several ordinary elders, and 3 supreme elders of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace were all killed. In an instant, the whole Xian Luo Immortal Palace was dead silent. Only the disciples of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace were trembling in fear. Little friend, how should we deal with these peoples? The purple-scaled fierce python asked Lin Tian. If they don't want to resist and kill us, let them go. Lin Tiandao. He glanced at the ordinary disciples of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace and asked them to leave on their own. If they didn't want to and wanted to stay and fight with the Xian Luo Immortal Palace, he would kill them without mercy. In this regard, the disciples of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace naturally chose to leave. After all, after witnessing the ferocious power of the purple-scaled fierce python, who would want to stay and fight back? In an instant, the sound of the air being torn was heard continuously. The disciples of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace ran away in the blink of an eye. They ran away so fast. Zhang Luoluo murmured, "Go and get the treasure." Lin Tiandao. The big shots of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace were killed, and the Xian Luo Immortal Sword was taken away. The other ordinary disciples had already left. Zhang Luoluo, and the purple-scaled fierce python went to the depths of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace. They pushed open the immortal palaces one after another and took out the treasures. There were 5 eternal weapons, dozens of immortal soul treasures, hundreds of Emperor Void ancestral weapons, more than 1,000 primordial heavenly treasures, 70 billion gene of Ling Jing, and countless Baodan treasures that could increase one's cultivation and heal one's body. Among these divine abilities and secret techniques, the Xian Luo scripture was the most valuable. It was a true immortal ancient scripture and was very mysterious. Lin Tian put away all the treasures and resources. Then, with the help of the purple-scaled python's half-step true, immortal demonic energy, he took out the foundation of this vein. There were a total of 900 divine veins and 2 spiritual chi dragon pearls, which were extremely valuable. Well, let's go. He took all the valuable treasures of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace and destroyed the place where the Xian Luo Immortal Palace was established. Then, he called Zhang Luoluo and the purple-scaled fierce python and went in another direction of this world. Not long after that, they appeared outside another inheritance. It was the ancestral land of the Fan family. Chapter 1434. The Fan clan had been passed down since the primordial era. Like the other great powers, it was situated within an extraordinary group of mountains. When looked at from afar, the Fan clan was filled with numerous grand divine halls and divine pavilions. Moreover, there were numerous unique plants growing within the clan. It was even to the extent that one could see a few waterfalls that flowed in reverse in the depths of the Fan clan. Lin Tian, Zhang Luoluo, and the purple fierce python had nothing to say. They arrived at the Fan family's territory in the blink of an eye. Under the fearful gazes of the Fan family's disciples, they walked into the Fan family's territory as if they were walking on flat ground. In an instant, the Fan family's disciples trembled, and many of them involuntarily stepped back. What do you want?" someone asked, but his voice was trembling. Lin Tian glanced at him and said nothing. He tilted his head and looked toward the depths of the Fan family's territory. Almost at the same time, 3 figures rushed out from the depths of the Fan family's territory and approached them in the blink of an eye. They were 3 elders at the middle stage of the immortal realm. When they saw Lin Tian, Jiang Luoluo, and Lin Tian and the purple fierce python, their eyes were bone-chilling. They clenched their fists tightly, full of anger and killing intent. Lin Tian and the purple fierce python, one had killed the Fan family's patriarch, 4 immortal elders, and 3 half-step eternal realm supreme elders. The other had even killed their eternal realm ancestor. They hated the 2 of them very much. Lin Tian glanced at them and said, "I won't say much. You know very well why I'm here. Hand over your family's genuine immortal weapons and resources as an apology, and I'll leave. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences." His voice was very calm, causing the 3 elders of the Fan clan to be even more enraged. The killing intent in their eyes intensified. "You killed our patriarch, supreme elders, and ancestor. Now you're in our territory, and you dare to ask us to hand over our genuine immortal weapons and resources. You're courting death. Where do you think the Fan family's territory is?" The first elder of this branch gritted his teeth, his eyes burning with rage and killing intent. At the same time, the other 2 elders did the same. They were all extremely angry. "I'm giving you a chance. Don't waste it." Lin Tiandao. His voice was calm from beginning to end. There was no joy or sorrow in his voice, which made the 3 elders of the Fan clan even more furious. The eyes of the Grand Elder of the Fan family were filled with murderous intent, and he did not bother to hide it at all. Sacrifice the clan's killing array, the immortal cauldron of the Protector clan. Not just anyone can barge into my Fan clan. Anyone below the true immortal realm can come. Stop! A voice rang out from outside the Fan clan. It was filled with urgency as it interrupted the words of the Fan clan's first elder. There, a figure rushed over, the divine force fluctuations around his body extremely vigorous. "Yes, 5th elder," a disciple of the Fan clan said. Lin Tian looked outside the Fan clan. Seeing the 5th elder of the Fan clan rushing over, he didn't care. His expression remained calm. In the blink of an eye, the Fan family's 5th elder rushed in from the outside, arriving beside the other 3 Fan family elders. "5th elder, you've returned just in time." The first elder of the Fan clan glanced at the 5th elder. The 5th elder had gone out on his travels a few years ago, and there had been no news of him. Now that he had returned, and at such a coincidental time, he could be considered a powerful force. "Let's work together to activate the clan's protective killing formation and protective immortal cauldron to kill these 3. One of them is a half-step true immortal, so be careful. As for the reason, I'll tell you in detail later." As he spoke to the 5th elder, his gaze fell on Lin Tian and the other 2. The killing intent in his eyes intensified. With the addition of a mid-stage immortal 5th elder, they could activate the clan's protective killing formation and protective immortal cauldron even more. "No! First elder, listen to me." The 5th elder glanced at Lin Tian, his eyes filled with panic. He said urgently to the first elder of the Fan clan, "No matter what request he has, agree to it. Don't do anything." "What?" The first elder of the Fan clan glared at the 5th elder. "5th elder, have you lost your mind from traveling the world? Do you know what you're saying? Do you know what happened?" He roared, "Our clan's grand ancestor, patriarch, 3 grand supreme elders, and a few other elders died because of him. Now, he's barging into our clan and arrogantly demanding that we hand over our true immortal cauldron and all our treasures and resources. You're telling us not to do anything and to agree to all his requests." The other 2 elders of the Fan clan also looked at the 5th elder. They did not understand why the 5th elder would say something like that. The 5th elder said anxiously, "I know. I've heard about everything that happened before I came back. I know very well what the situation is now. First Elder, listen to me. Don't do anything to him. Otherwise, we'll be in big trouble. As he spoke, he leaned toward the First Elder of the Fan Clan and whispered something that only the First Elder of the Fan Clan could hear. What? The First Elder of the Fan Clan trembled. The anger on his face disappeared in an instant. Cold sweat beaded on his forehead. Lin Tian, Jiang Luoluo, and the purple-scaled python stood together. They looked at the First Elder of the Fan Clan calmly. Have you finished your discussion? Are you going to hand it over or not? He asked, his voice still calm. The First Elder of the Fan Clan trembled. He looked at Lin Tian and could not help but tremble. He said with difficulty, "We'll hand it over." As soon as he said that, the other two elders of the Fan Clan who had rushed out with him were shocked. They did not understand what was going on. One of them, the second elder of the Fan Clan, looked at the First Elder of the Fan Clan and said, "First Elder, why are you suddenly? Shut up." The First Elder of the Fan Clan roared and interrupted him. Then, he ordered a few Empyrean realm experts of the Fan Clan to retrieve the accumulated resources of the clan. Soon, they took out all the precious weapons, Baodan, Lingjing, and other treasures of the Fan Clan. Then, he summoned a true immortal cauldron from the depths of the clan. It was the Fan Clan's Fan Flame Cauldron. He reluctantly handed it to Lin Tian with trembling hands. "Everything you want is here," he gritted his teeth and said with a trembling voice. Lin Tian glanced at the Fan Flame Cauldron. The Fan Flame Cauldron was a true immortal artifact, and there were also the 5 Sects eternal weapons, dozens of immortal soul artifacts, hundreds of Empyrean realm ancestral artifacts, Chaos Origin heavenly treasures, and other artifacts. In addition, there were also various Baodan immortal herbs. There was a total of 70 billion caddies of Lingjing. There were also many kinds of divine abilities and secret techniques, comparable to the Xian Luo Immortal Palace. He waved his hand and took the Fan Flame Cauldron, erasing the Fan Clan's mark on it and placing his own divine sense imprint on it. He kept the other treasures and glanced at the 5th Elder of the Fan Clan. Then he asked Jiang Luoluo and the purple-scaled python to leave. The disciples of the Fan family watched as Lin Tian, Jiang Luoluo, and the purple-scaled python left. Only when the 3 of them were out of sight of the Fan family did they finally let out a long sigh of relief. "First Elder, what's going on? Why did you change your mind? Why did you lower your head? We have genuine immortal-grade killing arrays and genuine immortal artifacts. We don't need to be afraid of them." The second elder of the Fan Clan looked at the First Elder with a slightly ashen face. Then he looked at the 5th Elder of the Fan Clan. "5th Elder, what did you say to the First Elder? What happened?" At the same time, the other elder of the Fan Clan and the other disciples of the Fan Clan looked at the 5th Elder. The 5th Elder suddenly rushed back and said a few words to the First Elder, and the First Elder suddenly changed his mind. The 5th Elder of the Fan Clan looked in the direction Lin Tian and the others left with unconcealable fear in his eyes. He took a deep breath and said, "When I came back, I learned that the Purple Yang Divine Sect and the Xian Luo Immortal Palace were all destroyed by him." "What?" As soon as this was said, the second elder and the other elders of the Fan Clan turned pale with fright. At the same time, the other disciples of the Fan Clan trembled. The Purple Yang Divine Sect and the Xian Luo Immortal Palace were, how is that possible? Everyone was shocked. The Purple Yang Divine Sect and the Xian Luo Immortal Palace were the top 3 inheritances of the Purple Yang Ancient Star. Among them, the Purple Yang Divine Sect was even stronger than the Fan Clan. But now, it was destroyed by Lin Tian together with the Xian Luo Immortal Palace? Are you sure? The second elder of the Fan Clan looked at the 5th elder in shock. "Would I joke about this?" The 5th elder of the Fan Clan said in detail. He had seen a group of disciples of the Xian Luo Immortal Palace fleeing in fear. Out of curiosity, he went forward to ask them and learned that the Xian Luo Immortal Palace had been destroyed by Lin Tian and the Purple Yang Divine Sect. He was shocked and personally went to the place where the Purple Yang Divine Sect and the Xian Luo Immortal Palace were established. What he saw was 2 pieces of ruins. During this process, he learned about the grudge between Lin Tian and the Xian Luo Immortal Palace and the Purple Yang Divine Sect. He also knew that Lin Tian also had a grudge with the Fan Clan. He had rushed to the Fan Clan's residence at full speed and returned before the calamity befell the Fan Clan. If we had fought with him just now, we would have followed in the footsteps of the Purple Yang Divine Sect and the Xian Luo Immortal Palace. This person said, his voice trembling. On the Purple Yang Star, the wind was blowing. Lin Tian's group walked out of the Fan Clan's residence. At this time, they were already very far away from the Fan Clan's residence. Speaking of which, why did the Fan Clan's Grand Elder suddenly change his mind? Didn't he want to kill us in the beginning? Why did his attitude change so quickly? What did that fifth elder who rushed back say to him? Zhang Luoluo was curious. Lin Tian glanced at her from the corner of his eyes. Little girl, your brain is not very flexible. He said, the Fan Clan's Grand Elder changed his mind, which means that he is afraid of us after hearing the fifth elder's words. Then, what does the fifth elder know about us that could make him afraid? Obviously, it's the matter of us destroying the Purple Yang Divine Sect and the Xian Luo Immortal Palace. Chapter 1435. After Lin Tian's reminder, Zhang Luoluo instantly understood why the great elder of the Fan family changed his attitude. That old man is very wise, she said. As long as it's a normal person, after knowing that kind of thing, they would make the same judgment. Lin Tiandao, he Zhang Luoluo, and the purple-scaled python were walking in the void. After a while, they had gone far away. Senior, let's go to the celestial devouring valley of this world. There is something very important there. Please accompany me to get it, he said to the purple-scaled python. There was a fragment of the sword soul in the celestial devouring valley of the Xian star, but it was extremely dangerous. Ordinary eternal realm experts would die there. With his current strength, even if he was a reincarnated body, he could not enter the depths of the celestial devouring valley safely. However, with the help of the purple-scaled python, a half-step true celestial expert, it was not a big problem. Now that the grievances with the three top inheritances of this world had been settled, it was time to get the fragment of the sword soul. No problem. Let's go, the purple-scaled python said with a smile. Lin Tian had mentioned this matter to it before, and it had always kept it in mind. Thank you, Senior. Lin Tiandao. Then, he led the way with Zhang Luoluo and the purple-scaled python in a fixed direction. Along the way, they tore the void several times and appeared in front of a valley after a few hours. Actually, it wasn't accurate to call it a valley because it was too vast. It was formed from tens of thousands of mountains, and it wasn't related to the word valley at all. Instead, it was more like a boundless mountain range. As far as the eye could see, the vegetation was sparse, and wisps of mist floated about. It was like a dead mountain in hell. When they came to this place, they could not help but feel a sense of fear just by looking at it from afar. Is this the celestial devouring valley you mentioned? It's a little scary. Zhang Luoluo stared at him. Her cultivation was not high, but her spiritual sense was not weak. She could clearly feel that this mountain range was not simple. Furthermore, in the face of such a gloomy place, even those with weak spiritual perception would be able to tell that it was very frightening just by looking at its surface. If I wasn't afraid, I would have already taken that thing out by myself. Why would I wait until now? Lin Tiandao looked at the purple-scaled python and asked, Senior, what do you think? Not simple, the purple-scaled python said, but it's not a big problem. Lin Tianyi smiled and said, then I'll have to trouble Senior. This place was the most dreadful life forbidden zone on the entire Ziyin planet. He couldn't see anyone else nearby. He found a remote corner and directly entered with Zhang Luoluo and the purple-scaled python. As soon as he stepped in, the air suddenly became countless times colder. It was as if he had stepped into the underworld. So cold! Zhang Luoluo shuddered involuntarily. Lin Tian looked towards the depths of the cave. His eyes were intertwined with a brilliant light. He said something to the purple-scaled python. Then, the three of them stepped into the depths of the cave. There was a wind blowing in the valley. It brought with it strands of black fog, making the air even colder. There were many mountains, and the soil was moist. Many places were brownish-red, as if they had been soaked in blood. The three of them walked into the depths of the valley. The purple-scaled python walked in the front. Soon, they were very far away. Roar! A sound beast with bloody hair all over its body rushed out. Its eyes were green, and its aura was very frightening. It was comparable to an Emperor Space Realm cultivator. The purple-scaled python raised its hand and directly smashed it into pieces with a slap. For a half-step true immortal expert, a lunar beast that was comparable to an Emperor Space Realm cultivator was really nothing. The three of them walked into the depths of the cave. Along the way, they encountered many strange monsters. However, they were all easily dealt with by the purple-scaled python. Gradually, the air became even colder. A mountain appeared in front of them. Black fog lingered on it. It was thicker than other places. 7 figures stood there quietly. They are still standing there. Lin Tian's eyes narrowed slightly. Looking from afar, the 7 figures had empty eyes. They were all wearing extremely ancient clothes. It was difficult to tell which era they belonged to. There was not a trace of life fluctuation on their bodies. They were completely dead. Most importantly, they were surrounded by a very thick, true, immortal aura and immortal law fluctuation, which gave people a very frightening feeling. This is... Zhang Luoluo stared. Could it be that the corpses of true immortals have changed? She could naturally feel that the 7 figures were not living people. The true immortal aura and immortal law fluctuation on their bodies were very thick. It was far from the true immortal aura and immortal law fluctuation of a half-step true immortal cultivator. Even the purple-scaled python was shocked. I can be sure that they were at least true immortals when they were alive. Suddenly, on the mountain ridge in the distance, the 7 figures turned their heads at the same time. They looked in their direction at the same time. Their eyes were like black holes. Zhang Luoluo trembled. They found us. On the mountain ridge, the 7 ancient corpses had existed for a very long time. Their corpses were indestructible. Their empty and numb eyes looked at Lin Tian and the other 2. They were like 7 soul reapers who had stepped into this world from the underworld. Senior, can you deal with them? Lin Tian asked the purple-scaled python. The 7 ancient corpses were very frightening. The last time he came to this immortal devouring valley to get the sword soul fragment, he had to retreat because of these 7 ancient corpses. Now his cultivation was much stronger than before. He had reached the early stage of immortal realm. However, when facing these 7 ancient corpses, he still felt a great pressure. He was not confident that he could deal with them. The purple-scaled python looked at the 7 ancient corpses on the mountain ridge and said, "No problem." True immortals were very frightening. However, these were just corpses of true immortals. For a half-step true immortal like it, they were nothing. After saying that, it asked Lin Tian and Zhang Luoluo to follow behind it. Its half-step true immortal realm demonic power surged as it walked forward. On the mountain ridge, the 7 ancient corpses were like puppets, and their expressions were numb and stiff. When they saw Lin Tian's group of 3 approaching, they suddenly moved like ghosts, and they brought along strands of bone-piercing cold winds as they pounced towards the 3 of them from the front. The purple-scaled python snorted and growled. A 100-meter-long purple python appeared behind it. It was formed by the half-step true immortal realm demonic power. With a swing of its tail, it smashed dozens of mountain ridges and then fell on the 7 ancient corpses. Suddenly, a series of banging sounds rang out. The 7 ancient corpses were sent flying at the same time, smashing into the distance like meteors. So violent. Zhang Luoluo swallowed her saliva. Even Lin Tian was shocked. Although he had seen how powerful and frightening the purple-scaled python was, he could not help but be surprised when he saw the purple-scaled python use its demonic art to send the 7 true immortal realm corpses flying with a swing of its tail. He tilted his head and looked in the direction of the 7 ancient corpses. Well, it's a pity. These 7 ancient corpses should have been true immortal realm powerhouses when they were alive. The essence of flesh and blood in their bodies was very shocking. If they had not turned into corpses, he could have used the saint refining precious technique to refine their life essence. Then his cultivation would have increased greatly. But now, the 7 corpses had changed. The essence of flesh and blood in their bodies must have been corroded and polluted by the Inchi. Refining and absorbing it would only be harmful. "Senior, let's go deeper," he said to the purple-scaled python. "Okay," the purple-scaled python said. After the 7 ancient corpses were sent flying, they did not return. The 3 of them walked deeper into the celestial devouring valley. Soon more than 100 mountains were behind them. The 3 of them walked far away. Ah! The ground cracked, and a ghost's claw stretched out. Its flesh and blood were rotten. It was surrounded by true, immortal chi and immortal Tao law. It was very shocking. At the same time, a dead bear rushed from the distance. One of its eyes was bleeding. Its true, immortal chi and immortal Tao law were frightening. Roars! A bone bird flew out from a mountain in the distance. It had 3 heads and rushed toward Lin Tian and the others. Its true immortal chi and immortal Tao law were intertwined. It was much stronger than the 7 ancient corpses from before. Then, shadows stepped out from every corner. They were either demons or humans. They were all not living creatures. They were all surrounded by true, immortal chi and immortal Tao law. It was very terrifying. They are all true, immortal ancient corpses? Zhang Luo's eyes widened. Lin Tian was also shocked. He really did not expect that there would be so many true, immortal-level corpses in this place. So many true, immortal realm powerhouses died in this place before. He was shocked. This place was really worthy of the name Celestial Devouring Valley. Boom! A cold wind blew. A group of true, immortal-level corpses rushed over. The gloomy aura corroded the air. However, this was nothing to the purple-scaled python, who was half a step away from true, immortal realm. They were all killed in the blink of an eye. After that, the 3 of them continued to move forward. In the blink of an eye, they had walked far away. They were very close to the deepest part of the valley. At this moment, they walked into a relatively empty region. There were much fewer mountains around them, and they were all dark red in color. As they moved forward, strands of red mist swept out from these mountains and drifted in all directions with the wind. At the same time, the ground began to shake. The void suddenly twisted on its own. Wisps of blurry, natural patterns intertwined, causing the air in this place to suddenly become extremely oppressive. Lin Tian and the other 2 trembled at the same time. Their expressions changed drastically. What's wrong? What happened? Zhang Luolua's heart palpitated. Even the purple-scaled python, who was half a step away from true immortal realm, could not help but be shocked at this time. Lin Tian opened his divine eyes of illusion breaker and scanned the surroundings. Then his expression changed again. "We are in big trouble," he said in a deep voice. After opening his divine eyes of illusion breaker, he saw through many things in the blink of an eye. At this time, they had stepped into a terrifying killing trap. This was the most dangerous area in the Celestial Devouring Valley, where all the killing power of the terrain gathered. The killing power of the terrain gathered together to form a killing trap that could kill a true immortal realm powerhouse. Boom! Chapter 1436. The blood-red ripple was extremely frightening and contained an astonishing destructive power. Wherever it passed, the void remained unscathed. However, it made Lin Tian and the other 2 feel a chill run down their spines. It was as if an invincible immortal king was attacking them. The purple-scaled python roared. Its half-step true, immortal-level demonic power surged. It activated its original divine form and faced the attack head-on. Its original divine form was a purple python. Its demonic power was surging. It was at least 100 feet long and was extremely frightening. However, the blood-red ripple was somewhat frightening. It instantly shattered its original divine form. The purple-scaled python suffered a backlash. Its body trembled and blood spilled out of its mouth. However, the blood-red ripple didn't change its momentum at all. It was still pressing forward without slowing down. The purple-scaled python clenched its teeth and activated its half-step true immortal-level demonic power. It then propped up the purple amplification furnace. It used this genuine immortal-level precious weapon to attack the blood-red ripple. When the two collided, an overwhelming radiance erupted. However, it still couldn't stop the blood-red ripple. The ripple was slowly pressing forward. This, Zhang Luoluo was shocked. The half-step true immortal-level purple-scaled python propped up a genuine immortal-level weapon, but it couldn't stop the blood-red ripple. The purple-scaled python clenched its teeth and used its half-step true immortal-level demonic power to propel the purple amplification furnace even more. However, it was still useless. The blood-red ripple was still pressing forward. It was just that its speed was much slower. Lin Tian naturally saw this scene. He knew that the purple-scaled python couldn't stop the blood-red ripple with its power. He was very anxious, but he forced himself to calm down. He opened his divine eyes of delusion breaker and operated the dragon burial scripture quickly to search the surroundings. In the blink of an eye, 10 breaths passed. Although the purple-scaled python tried its best to stop the blood-red ripple, it was still pressed forward by the blood-red ripple. Its destructive and oppressive aura gave rise to a feeling that it was impossible to resist. "Senior, retreat first." "I'll do it." Lin Tian's voice resounded at this moment. He took a step forward and appeared in front of the python. He then faced the blood-red ripples head-on. Shermu took advantage of the time gap when the purple-scaled python was blocking the blood-red ripples. He used his delusion breaker divine eyes and the dragon burial scripture to capture the general trend of this place. He was able to see something. At this time, he stepped in front of the purple-scaled python. Then, he stomped on the ground with his right leg. Suddenly, countless dragon patterns submerged into the ground and drew out a blood-red light from the ground. This blood-colored light had the same aura as the blood-colored ripple. It was of the same nature and origin as it charged towards the blood-colored ripple. Chi! When the two collided, a light sound rang out. The blood-colored ripples dissipated as if they had evaporated. Such a scene shocked Zhang Luoluo and the purple-scaled python, especially the purple-scaled python, whose eyes were filled with shock. In the face of such blood-colored ripples, it had used up all of its half-step true immortal strength to block them, but Lin Tian had dealt with them so easily. "Young friend, you are truly extraordinary." It looked at Lin Tian and sighed. "How on earth did you do it?" Senior purple-scaled python couldn't block such a terrible blood-colored ripple even with its half-step true immortal strength and genuine immortal weapon. "But you crushed it so easily. Isn't this too strange?" Zhang Luoluo asked in surprise. "Didn't I say before that I know a lot about topography? Just now, I borrowed the power of the ley lines in this place." Lin Tiandao. Zhang Luoluo didn't quite understand. "What do you mean?" Then she asked, "And what's the situation now? These things?" She looked around. At this time, in this place, there were wisps of blood-colored mist floating in the air. At the same time, there were wisps of natural patterns falling down. They combined together and completely trapped the three of them. There was a very oppressive aura intertwined in this place. The void was distorted from time to time. The scene was somewhat horrifying. Lin Tiandao said, "The blood-colored ripple just now was a kind of natural killing force condensed by the ley lines in this place. Just now, I used a special technique to forcibly pull out the same natural killing force from the ley lines and collide with it to cancel it out." As he spoke, he glanced around and continued to explain quickly. "As for the situation now, to put it simply, we have stepped into a ley line killing formation. This killing formation has condensed all the killing forces in a radius of at least hundreds of thousands of miles. As long as a living thing enters it, it will immediately become the target of this killing formation." Ley line killing formation? Zhang Luoluo thought for a moment and said, "Is it a natural killing formation formed by heaven and earth?" "That's more or less what it means." Lin Tiandao. "How's its power?" "It's very terrifying," Lin Tian said. "It has no problem killing ordinary true immortals." As soon as these words came out, Jiang Luo's eyes widened. Didn't this mean that they were doomed? However, in the next moment, she returned to normal and asked Lin Tiandao, "You should have a way to break it, right?" She felt that since Lin Tian was able to explain everything so clearly and had used a special method to erase the blood-red ripples, he should be able to find a way to break out of the earth vein killing formation and safely leave this place. "Little friend, do you have a way to get out of here?" the purple-scaled python asked. It also felt that Lin Tian should have a way. Lin Tian nodded. "I can break it." Then he said to the purple-scaled python, "We still have to rely on Senior's strength." With the help of the Delusion Breaker Divine Eye and the Dragon Burial Scripture, he had already understood the structure of this killing formation. He knew how to break it, but his own strength was not enough to do it. He needed the help of the purple-scaled python's demonic power, which was half a step away from the true immortal level. Boom! It was at this point that the air and land began to tremble even more violently. The blood-colored mist that floated in the area seemed to have a mind of its own and began to move. It locked down the entire area and at the same time began to press down on the trio. At the same time, the natural patterns floating in the surroundings trembled. An even more terrifying ripple of destruction spread out, terrifying people's souls. In the whole space, the oppressive and destructive aura became thicker. The natural killing power of heaven and earth surged violently. The killing formation of this place really moved. "Senior, please give me your demonic power and give me the control of the purple amplification furnace for the time being," Lin Tian said quickly. The purple-scaled python did not hesitate. It already knew that Lin Tian was very proficient in the layout of earth veins. At this moment, it moved immediately. Its demonic power, which was half a step away from the true immortal level, was continuously injected into Lin Tian's body. At the same time, it directly threw the purple amplification furnace to Lin Tian. Lin Tian's body shook slightly. The demonic power of the purple-scaled python's demonic power, which was half a step away from the true immortal level, rushed into his body and instantly filled every corner of his body. He directly operated the dragon burial scripture to the limit, interweaving dense dragon patterns and rushing towards the ground. At the same time, he took out the Xian Luo sword and Fanyan cauldron, which were true immortal level. Together with the purple amplification furnace, he let them intertwine with the dragon patterns, protecting him, Jiang Luoluo, and the purple-scaled python in the triangular immortal ceiling formation. Then, with the dragon patterns rushing towards the ground, endless blood-colored light was drawn from the ground, covering the true immortal weapons of the three sections. Suddenly, with a clang, an ear-piercing sword sound was heard. The true immortal weapons of the three sects protected the three people. Combined with the killing power of the earth veins drawn from the ground by Lin Tian, they turned into a light sword of dozens of feet, firmly protecting the three people. "Let's go," Lin Tian said, facing the destructive power of the earth veins killing formation. He used the Delusion Breaker Divine Eyes to find the weakest point of the earth veins killing formation. Then, with a thought, he controlled the divine light sword formed by the dragon patterns, the killing light of the earth veins, and the true immortal weapons of the three sects to go straight towards the weakest point of the earth veins killing formation. The sword sound was clanging, and the light sword of dozens of feet wrapped Lin Tian and the other two people. Its speed was extremely fast, and it faced the destructive power of the earth veins killing formation. It forcibly traversed a distance of hundreds of feet in this destructive power and came to the edge of the earth veins killing formation. Then it forcibly cut open a big crack at the weakest point of the earth veins killing formation and forcibly broke out. In an instant, the surrounding blood-colored mist and natural patterns all disappeared, and the light sword of dozens of feet also dispersed, revealing the bodies of the true immortal weapons of the three sects and Lin Tian and the other two people. "We're out." Jiang Luoluo was pleasantly surprised. At this time, the oppressive and destructive power was no longer in the air. Obviously, they had rushed out of the killing formation. "Young friend is really extraordinary." The purple-scaled fierce python looked at Lin Tian and praised. Facing such a terrible earth veins killing formation, the half-step true immortal python had no ability at all. However, Lin Tian only borrowed a trace of its demonic power and took it and Jiang Luluo out safely, which really shocked it. Without the help of Senior's demonic power, I would have had no way to get out, Lin Tian said with a smile. In addition, I have to thank the true immortal weapons of the Purple Amplified God Sect, the Xian Luo Immortal Palace, and the Fan family. I used Senior's power to forcibly draw the killing power of the earth veins in this place as a sword to open up a way out and forcibly cut open the destructive power of the earth veins killing formation. During this process, the recoil was very terrible, and the true immortal weapons of the three sects helped us completely withstand the recoil. Otherwise, even if we could have rushed out, we would have been seriously injured. As he said, he looked at the purple amplified furnace, the Xian Luo sword, and the Brahma flame cauldron. The immortal light outside the true, immortal weapons of the three sects had become very chaotic at this time. Obviously, they had been affected greatly. However, this was not a big deal. The three precious weapons were not badly damaged and would soon recover. Well, this is the will of heaven. It was really right to come here and take a trip to the three inheritances. Jiang Luoluo clicked her tongue. Lin Tianyi smiled. You can say that. At this time, they had already walked out of the terrible killing formation. Lin Tian put away the Xian Luo sword and the Brahma flame cauldron, and the purple-scaled fierce python put away the purple amplified furnace. The three of them stopped to rest for a while, and then continued to go deeper into the immortal valley. Their speed was not very fast, but it was not slow either. In the blink of an eye, a full hour had passed. Chapter 1437. The seven-colored light source was only the size of a fist, but it was like an invincible divine emperor, making all Daos submit to it. Lin Tian looked at the seven-colored divine light from afar, and a gleam of light flashed across his eyes. He had finally found the sword's soul fragment that lived in the celestial devouring valley. At the same time, the pupils of the purple-scaled fierce python constricted, and it was shocked. The moment it saw the seven-colored light source, it was shocked. It could tell that the seven-colored divine light source was unusual. It was too unusual. It was like the origin of heaven and earth. Jiang Luoluo was the most surprised. Looking at the seven-colored light source in front of her, she widened her eyes and asked, that is, she had accidentally entered the Xian ancient star from the Tongxing star area. There was a strange seven-colored divine light on the Tongxing star, which repelled everything and suppressed the great ways. The necklace on her neck was made from a special metal that her great-grandfather found near the seven-colored divine light in the ancient land. It had an extraordinary effect and had helped her avoid death several times. She did not expect to see another seven-colored divine light in this place at this time. It was exactly the same as the seven-colored divine light in the ancient land on the Tongxing star. They were of the same quality and origin. She widened her eyes and looked incredulous. Senior, Luoluo, wait for me here. I will get it and then leave. At this time, Lin Tian's voice sounded. Hearing this, the purple-scaled fierce python and Jiang Luluo were shocked. You mentioned that you would come here to get something. That thing is this seven-colored divine light? Jiang Luoluo was surprised. Yes, Lin Tian. He did not hide it. After he finished speaking, he stepped forward and instantly crossed hundreds of feet and appeared on the mountain ridge in front of him. Almost as soon as he stepped onto the mountain ridge, the fist-sized rainbow light source behind the mountain ridge trembled, and the rainbow light it emitted became a little thicker. As if it had a mind of its own, it took the initiative to move closer to him. Such a scene shocked the purple-scaled fierce python and Jiang Luoluo, especially Jiang Luoluo, who looked incredulous. Her eyes almost popped out of their sockets. The Tongxing star area, where she was originally located, had the same seven-colored divine light as the seven-colored divine light in this place. It suppressed the great ways and repelled everything. No one could get close to it, not even experts at the peak of the eternal realm. Even someone with a genuine immortal weapon couldn't get close to it. But now, in this place, there was an identical seven-colored divine light in front of her. Lin Tian, who was at the early stage of the immortal realm, approached it, but the divine light didn't repel her at all. Buzz! In the distance, the rainbow-colored light source buzzed. The intertwining rainbow-colored light became even more intense. It approached Lin Tian's side and bobbed up and down in front of Lin Tian. It was like the light source of heaven and earth. It did not emit a very strong aura, but it could really suppress everything. Around it, all the great Daos were submitting. Lin Tian's eyes lit up. He had traveled thousands of miles from the ancient Milky Way to the ancient Xian star area for the Sword Soul Fragment. Looking at the Sword Soul Fragment, he took a deep breath and raised his right hand. The sword tattoo on his palm shone faintly. Then, in the next moment, the fist-sized Sword Soul Fragment dragged a rainbow-colored tail and disappeared into his body. It went into his body on its own. In the distance, Jiang Luluo was shocked again. So was the purple-scaled fierce python. On the mountain ridge, Lin Tian stood upright. The Sword Soul Fragment entered his body and came to his sea of consciousness in a flash. Then, it came to the seven-colored divine sword at the bottom of his sea of consciousness. It circled around the divine sword and went straight into it. Suddenly, the divine sword vibrated. Strands of rainbow-colored divine light intertwined and spread to all parts of Lin Tian's body. Lin Tian naturally sensed this scene. He knew it was a gift after finding the Sword Soul Fragment. He was very familiar with it. Without any hesitation, he ran the Heart Sutra of Sun to quickly refine the rainbow-colored divine light. In an instant, his energy, qi, and spirit began to rise. His cultivation also increased slowly. In the blink of an eye, half an hour had passed. After half an hour, the Sword Soul Fragment he found in this place had completely fused with the divine sword in his sea of consciousness, making more mysterious divine runes on the divine sword light up. At the same time, his energy, qi, and spirit were stronger than before. His cultivation had reached the middle level of the early immortal realm. It was an exaggerated progress. After all, he was now in the immortal realm. It wasn't easy for an ordinary person to reach the middle level of the early immortal realm from the critical point of the early immortal realm. Some people couldn't reach this step even after spending their whole lives. However, he had done it in half an hour. He clenched his fists and felt that he was much stronger than before. He used his soul consciousness to scan the seven-colored divine sword at the bottom of his sea of consciousness. Then, he flashed and left the mountain ridge, returning to Jiang Luluo and the purple-scaled fierce python. Why did the seven-colored divine light approach you? How could you get the seven-colored divine light that easily? Why is that? Jiang Luluo asked, her eyes full of surprise. There was a seven-colored divine light in the Tonghung ancient star area. Even the Eternal Realm experts with genuine, immortal weapons couldn't get close to it. However, in this place, there was a seven-colored divine light that was exactly the same as the seven-colored divine light on the Tonghung star. It also suppressed all Dao. However, it approached Lin Tian and was easily taken away by Lin Tian. Why? Lin Tiandao asked. Because I'm a good person. Jiang Luoluo stared at him. Apparently, she was not satisfied with his answer. Lin Tian laughed. He was in a good mood after getting the Sword Soul Fragment here. Then he called Jiang Luoluo and the purple-scaled fierce python to leave the Celestial Devouring Valley. At this time, they had got the Sword Soul Fragment here. There was no need for them to stay. Whoosh! In the Celestial Devouring Valley, a chilly wind blew on them. The three of them walked out of the Celestial Devouring Valley. Because they had passed through many dangerous places, the process of going back the way they came was relatively smooth. It didn't take them long to get out of the Celestial Devouring Valley. Now that we have got the thing here, shall we find the location of the ancient life star that you mentioned? The purple-scaled fierce python asked Lin Tiandao. Lin Tian had helped it get out of the ancient immortal divine garden, and it had promised Lin Tian two things. One was to accompany Lin Tian into the Celestial Devouring Valley to get something. The other was to help Lin Tian find the starry sky coordinates of an ancient life star in the starry sky. Now that Lin Tian had gotten the thing in the celestial devouring valley, it wanted to help Lin Tian with the other thing. Lin Tian's eyes lit up when he heard that. Well, thank you, Senior. Then, just outside the celestial devouring valley, he took Zhang Luluo and the purple-scaled fierce python and rushed out of the Xian star. They broke through the natural star barrier outside the Xian ancient star and went directly into the starry sky. As far as the eye could see, the starry sky seemed to be slightly dim. Silver light coiled around it, and it gave one a strange and vast feeling. Senior, I'm sorry to trouble you, Lin Tian said. He told the purple-scaled fierce python in detail about the surface features of the ancient life star in the 10 Directions celestial domain. When he came out of the 10 Directions celestial domain, he looked at the ancient life star in the starry sky for a long time, so he knew what it looked like very well. The purple-scaled fierce python nodded and activated its half-step true immortal divine sense to the limit. Its majestic demonic power surged. It used its vast divine sense and amazing monster clan divine ability to carry out all kinds of deductions in the starry sky. After about 14 hours, it stopped. Is it this ancient life star? It asked Lin Tiandao. It spread out its right hand, and the demonic power gathered and intertwined into a round star. This star was colorful. In terms of size, it was far smaller than the Xian ancient star. However, outside the star, there was a hazy light, which made it look somewhat magical. Lin Tian saw the star that the purple-scaled fierce python created with its demonic power, and the light in his eyes became brighter. Yes, that's it. He nodded. The purple-scaled fierce python nodded and said with a smile, Found it. Then, a wisp of divine sense rushed out from between its eyebrows and sent the coordinates of the 10 Directions celestial domain into Lin Tian's sea of consciousness. After receiving the coordinates of the 10 Directions celestial domain sent by the purple-scaled fierce python, Lin Tian's eyes became brighter. Thank you, Senior. He expressed his gratitude. Helping him find the coordinates of the ancient life star in the 10 Directions celestial domain was one of the 2 conditions that he put forward before helping the purple-scaled fierce python leave the ancient immortal divine garden. He didn't need to thank it, but he still thanked it now because he was very depressed when he accidentally lost the way back after leaving the 10 Directions celestial domain. Now, the purple-scaled fierce python helped him find the coordinates of the 10 Directions celestial domain, and he got the way back, which made him very happy. Little friend, you're too polite. This is what I promised to do for you. It's not worth your thanks, the purple-scaled fierce python said with a smile. The purple-scaled python replied with a smile. Then, it asked curiously, Young friend, why are you looking for the coordinates of that star? Because I started my cultivation on that ancient life star. My family and friends are on that ancient life star. Because of an accident, I left that ancient life star. At first, I didn't know the coordinates of that ancient life star, so I directly lost the way back. I've been wanting to go back all these years. Lin Tian said simply. The purple-scaled fierce python understood. I see. It said, Then, little friend, are you going to leave Xian ancient star and go back to that ancient life star? That's right. Lin Tian nodded. Because of an accident, he left the 10 Directions celestial domain and didn't know the way back, so he couldn't go back. After so many years, he missed his family and friends in the 10 Directions celestial domain very much. At the same time, because of that accident, he left the ancient life star in the 10 Directions celestial domain. He could imagine that his family and friends in the 10 Directions celestial domain must be worried about him all these years. After all, for his family and friends, he was completely missing when he left the 10 Directions celestial domain because no one knew where he went. Chapter 1438. It had been many years since he left the 10 Directions celestial domain. Now, with the help of the python, Lin Tian had found the coordinates of the ancient star of life in the 10 Directions celestial domain. He was very happy and wanted to go back as soon as possible. The python asked, Are you leaving now? Yes, I'm leaving now. Lin Tiandao. After saying that, he thanked the python again. The python had helped him find the sword's soul fragment in the celestial devouring valley and the starry sky coordinates of the ancient star in the 10 directions celestial domain. Although it was because he had taken the python out of the ancient immortal divine garden, he was still very grateful. Moreover, the python had helped him a lot in other aspects during this time. Little friend, you don't have to be so polite. It is my fortune to be able to meet you. Without you, I wouldn't have a future. I would be trapped in the ancient immortal divine garden forever. Even if I reached the eternal immortal realm, it would be meaningless. The python said, if I could, I would like to accompany you back to your homeland. However, I have to practice in seclusion to break through to the true immortal realm. I guess I'll have to practice in seclusion for a few years. It said with a regretful expression. At first, it had been practicing in seclusion to break through to the true immortal realm. It had sensed the supreme celestial jade, which was very useful for those who wanted to break through to the true immortal realm. Then, it had experienced many things with Lin Tian. It had been delayed for a long time in breaking through to the true immortal realm. The impact was not small. Now, it couldn't delay any longer. Otherwise, it would suffer great losses. Senior, I appreciate your kindness. I've troubled you so much. I can't affect your breakthrough to the true immortal realm. Lin Tian said. He then smiled and said, however, with Senior's accumulation and the addition of the supreme immortal jade, you will definitely be able to perfectly break through to the true immortal realm. Moreover, after breaking through to the true immortal realm, you will be unrivaled within the same realm. He was not flattering the python, but telling the truth. The psychic supreme, celestial jade was rare in the world. It was a treasure for those who wanted to break through to the true immortal realm. If the python refined the psychic supreme, celestial jade, and broke through to the true immortal realm, it would succeed. Moreover, once it entered the true immortal realm, its true immortal chi would be extremely condensed because of the supreme celestial jade. It was absolutely possible for it to be invincible in the same realm. Well, I'll take advantage of your auspicious words. The purple-scaled python said with a smile, I hope we can meet again in the future. As it spoke, it extended its right hand towards Lin Tian like an ordinary person. Lin Tian smiled. He extended his hand and shook the purple-scaled python's hand. Then he released it. Goodbye, Senior. He bid farewell to the purple-scaled python in the end. Then, he took Jiang Luoluo and left. He turned into a beam of golden light and rushed into the distance. The purple-scaled python looked in the direction where Lin Tian and Jiang Luoluo had left. Only when the two had completely disappeared from its sight did it leave and land on the Xian ancient star. It would cultivate in seclusion in the Xian ancient star in hopes of breaking through to the true immortal realm. Lin Tian separated from the purple-scaled python. Then, she took Jiang Luoluo with her. She had already traveled a long distance in the starry sky. Golden divine light was intertwined around his body, protecting Jiang Luoluo as she traveled. After all, Jiang Luo's cultivation was only at the airborne realm, which was far from enough to travel through the starry sky. She could not withstand the pressure of the starry sky at all. By the way, how long will it take to travel from here to the 10 directions ancient star where you are? Jiang Luoluo asked Lin Tiandao. While she was only at the airborne realm at the moment, the clan she belonged to was very powerful and knowledgeable. As such, she was not too surprised about being able to travel through space. Back then, her great-grandfather had taken her to travel through space for a while. There are still 2 ancient star regions between the Xian ancient star region and the Xian ancient star region. At my speed, including the rest on the way, it will take about 2 years. Lin Tiandao. His current speed was, in fact, not much slower than that of an early-stage Eternal Realm expert. However, the starry sky was too vast. To walk out of the Xian ancient star region in such a vast starry sky, and then pass through 2 strange ancient star regions to reach the 10 directions ancient star region, the distance between was an astronomical figure. Naturally, it would take a lot of time. On the other hand, the starry barrier was extremely sturdy. It was impossible for him to tear open a starry passage in the starry sky to traverse a long distance with his current cultivation. Even an eternal realm expert did not have the ability to do so. To have the ability to tear open a starry passage, one had to be at least at the true immortal realm. My great-grandfather took me to play in the starry sky before, but the longest time we stayed was 7 days. Now that we have to travel through the starry sky for 2 years, it's quite interesting. Zhang Luoluo said. Lin Tiandao replied with an "oh" and did not say anything else. His speed was very fast, like a golden lightning flashing through the starry sky. Of course, because it would take about 2 years to travel through the starry sky from here to the 10 Directions ancient star, he was not just simply moving through the starry sky. Instead, he was moving towards the 10 Directions ancient star while activating the starry sky origin energy to cultivate. Just like when he went from Earth to the Xian ancient star, his essence, qi, and spirit slowly increased. In this way, 2 years passed in a flash. On this day, he took Zhang Luoluo out of a strange starry sky and soon arrived in front of a huge star. As far as the eye could see, this ancient star had a standard round shape. It was colorful and hazy, as if it was hiding something. It gave people a strange feeling. We're back! Looking at this brightly colored star, Lin Tian's eyes lit up. Strands of resplendent light appeared in his eyes. This huge star was the 10 Directions celestial domain. It had been 10 years since he was swept away by the starry sky tide and accidentally left the 10 Directions celestial domain. 10 years later, he finally found this place again. This is the 10 Directions celestial domain you mentioned? Zhang Luoluo looked at the ancient star and asked. Lin Tiandao nodded, yes. Looking at the 10 Directions ancient star, he took a deep breath and reminded Zhang Luoluo to be careful. Then he took a step forward, broke the starry barrier outside the 10 Directions celestial domain, and descended inside. After that, in the blink of an eye, he took Zhang Luoluo through the starry barrier and appeared inside the star. The sky was blue, and looking down, there was a vast plain world. This was the 10th heaven of the 10 Directions celestial domain. He scanned the vast heaven region with his immortal level psyche and found that this heaven region was exactly the same as when he first arrived here 10 years ago. There were no mountains, no rivers, only lush greenery. The only difference was that at this time he found many figures in this heaven realm. They were cultivating silently in different areas, and their strength was not weak. However, although most of these people were not weak, more than 90% of them did not possess the cultivation to enter this heavenly domain. It was obvious that they were brought here by other experts from the lower heavenly domain. Back when I unsealed this heaven, those who had reached quasi-emperor level and above were able to break through the barrier of this heaven and enter here. After that, no major forces moved their inheritance here, and only the experts of great inheritances brought their outstanding disciples to this heaven to cultivate. He muttered to himself. Although this was his guess, he did not care. He took Zhang Luoluo and silently disappeared from this heaven. In the next moment, they appeared in the 9th heaven of the 10 Directions celestial domain. Then, he took another step forward, as if he had teleported, and brought Zhang Luoluo to a group of immortal mountains. Looking around, the mountains in this group of immortal mountains were not tall, but each of them had an extraordinary aura, as if immortal beasts were lying on the ground. It was very shocking. In this group of immortal mountains, there were many immortal palaces, magnificent and luxurious. They occupied a radius of hundreds of thousands of miles, not only on the ground, but also in the void. They were dragged by powerful Tao patterns and were thousands of feet above the ground. Moreover, there were not only palaces in the void, but also treasure islands. Each of them was very large, and they were spaced apart from the other palaces. They were arranged in a very orderly manner. Chapter 1439. Zhang Luoluo was a little shocked when she saw the majestic palaces and floating treasure islands in the immortal mountains in front of her and felt the faint dragon chi in the air. It was impossible for an ordinary place to have dragon chi. What is this place? she asked Lin Tian. The immortal court, the inheritance I established. Lin Tiandao. The reason why there was dragon chi in the air here was because there was a dragon essence under the immortal mountains, which was equivalent to the fruit borne by the ancestral dragon's veins. What? Zhang Luo's eyes widened. This place is the inheritance established by Lin Tian? Lin Tian actually established an inheritance? Lin Tian didn't say much. He had drifted in the starry sky for 10 years. Now that he had returned, he was in a good mood. Let's go. He beckoned Zhang Luluo, stepped into the immortal mountains, and soon arrived in front of the immortal court. The main gate of the immortal court was very grand. There were more than 10 immortal soldiers guarding outside. Their expressions were very solemn. When they saw someone approaching, one of them stepped forward and asked, "What's the matter?" The person opened his mouth, but in the next moment his face suddenly changed. When he saw Lin Tian's appearance, his eyes widened in surprise and surprise. Immortal, immortal, Lord Immortal Emperor? At the same time, the other immortal soldiers also recognized Lin Tian, and they were all shocked. It's really the Lord Immortal Emperor. Greetings, Lord Immortal Emperor. Everyone hurriedly saluted. In the past, Lin Tian established the immortal court and called himself the Immortal Emperor. He single-handedly suppressed the dark turmoil and led the experts in the world to destroy the invasion of the netherworld race. Then, he unsealed the 10th heaven and preached his Tao to the world from a distance, causing the 10 heavens to tremble violently. All the immortal soldiers and immortal generals of the immortal court were proud of this and respected Lin Tian very much. 10 years ago, after Lin Tian entered the 10th heaven, he never returned. Many cultivators of the immortal court knew about this. Now, after 10 years, Lin Tian appeared in front of them, which made the immortal soldiers of the immortal court excited and pleasantly surprised. Get up! Lin Tian didn't put on airs at all. He told the immortal soldiers to ignore him and led Zhang Luluo into the immortal court. You call yourself an immortal emperor? This name sounds pretty good. It's quite imposing. Zhang Luluo clicked her tongue. I'm very imposing myself too. Lin Tiandao. Pride. Zhang Luluo curled her lips. But thinking about it, Lin Tian was speaking the truth. In the time that she had spent with Lin Tian was indeed very imposing. Or rather, she was very strong. She was extremely ferocious towards her enemies. Inside the immortal Lyceum, ancient buildings were connected to each other. All of them were extraordinary and were arranged in a very orderly manner. The dragon chi in the air was denser than outside the immortal Lyceum. Many immortal soldiers and immortal generals were walking back and forth in the immortal Lyceum. When they saw Lin Tian, they were both surprised and delighted. All of them bowed and paid their respects. Lin Tian got these people to stand up and walk deeper into the immortal court. As he walked, he spread out his powerful divine sense, causing his powerful divine sense to instantly spread throughout the entire immortal court, informing his family and friends of his return. Suddenly, in a special area in the depths of the immortal court, several women were shocked. They were all pleasantly surprised. Big Brother? It's Big Brother's aura. Lin Shi, Jiyu, Shui, Baiqiu, Sushu, and Yinyo were cultivating together. At this moment, their bodies trembled. It's that guy's aura. There's no doubt about it. He's back, Baiqiu said happily. Lin Shi was the most excited. She rushed out in a flash. At the same time, in other places in the immortal court, Bai Ziki, Yang Qi, Wuxing Crocodile, Little Taichu He Jiao, Ling Yun, Fanning Xiong, and Yi Tong were all shocked. It's Master's aura. Master is back. Yi Tong's eyes lit up. Wuxing Crocodile said, That's right. It's that little rascal's divine sense. After 10 years, he finally appeared. Little Tai Chu cried out happily. With a flap of its wings, it dispersed strands of 6-colored light and instantly disappeared from where it stood. Lin Tian walked in the immortal court with Zhang Luoluo. His steps were very gentle, and there was a faint smile on his face. He looked at the immortal court. Returning after 10 years, he felt very comfortable and relaxed walking in it. Whoosh! The sound of air breaking rang out. With a flash of six-color divine light, little Taichu flew out and flashed in front of Lin Tian. Yeah, Lin Tian? The little guy's body was snow white. His four little furry paws and his big eyes were very bright. He seemed very happy. After all, it had been 10 years since Lin Tian accidentally left the 10 Heavens domain. After 10 years, the little guy missed Lin Tian very much. Little guy, long time no see. Lin Tiandao was also very happy. Beside him, Jiang Luo looked at the little Taichu, and her eyes instantly lit up. What a cute little guy. It had to be said that the snow-white little Taichu with a pair of bright and clean wings was really cute. For some young girls, it was very lethal. Jiang Luo couldn't help but reach out to hug the little guy. Yeah, the little guy was very vigilant, or rather, he was a little shy. He immediately dodged, not letting Jiang Luo touch him. Don't, little guy. Let me hug you, Jiang Luo said, with a hint of pleading. At this moment, the sound of air breaking rang out again. A graceful figure rushed over and pounced on Lin Tian. Brother, Lin Shi arrived after the little Taichu. She was very happy. I'm back. Lin Tian smiled and rubbed Lin Shi's head. In the next moment, the sound of air breaking rang out one after another. Jiyu, Bai Qiu, Shui, Sushu, Yinyam Yi Tong, Wuxing Crocodile, Fanning Xiong, Bai Ziki, and others appeared one after another. Master! Yi Tong stepped forward and bowed to Lin Tian. After so many years, the childishness on her face has completely disappeared. Lin Tian chuckled and gently pulled Yi Tong up. Where have you been all these years? After breaking into the 10th heaven, you disappeared directly. You ever tried to deduce anything, but she couldn't deduce anything, just like your master. Bai Qiu muttered. When Lin Tian broke through to the 10th heaven, he unsealed the barrier of the 10th heaven while transmitting the Tao across space. However, when the transmission was over, Lin Tian didn't return. After that, it wasn't until 49 days later that the heavenly barrier was truly broken. Little Taichu ascended to the 10th heaven with his Empyrean realm cultivation base, but after searching for a long time, he still couldn't find any trace of Lin Tian. After that, little Taichu returned. Yin Yiber tried to deduce anything, but she still couldn't find anything. The situation was the same as when she tried to deduce an old drunkard. She couldn't find anything about Lin Tian. The heavenly divination can't deduce anything about me? Is it related to my physique? Lin Tian was a little surprised. After breaking the heavenly barrier of the 10th heaven, I continued to rush up from the 10th heaven and entered the starry sky. Then, I accidentally encountered a starry sky tide and was swept to another unknown starry sky. It wasn't until 2 years ago that I found my way back. He could hear the worry in Bai Qiu's words. He looked at Bai Qiu, then at Jiyu, Shui, Sushu, Yinyar, Wuxing Crocodile, and the others and smiled. Well, I've made you all worry over the years. It's okay. It's good that you're back. Moreover, although we were worried about your unexpected disappearance over the years, we weren't overly anxious. After all, you left a soul lamp in the immortal court, and we know that you are safe. Jiyu said gently. She and the others weren't too surprised that Lin Tian mentioned the starry sky above the 10th heaven, because when the little Taichu was looking for Lin Tian, he also rushed into the starry sky and told everyone what he saw. Come on, kid. Tell me what you have experienced over the years. Wuxing Crocodile flew over and suddenly saw Jiang Luo behind Lin Tian. He suddenly smiled evilly. By the way, kid, did you kidnap another girl? At the same time, Jiyu, Bai Qiu, and the others also noticed Jiang Luo. Who is this? Jiyu asked. Lin Tian glanced at Wuxing Crocodile, then said to Jiyu, Shui, and the others. Jiang Luo, in her hometown, stepped on an interstellar transmission array and was teleported to an ancient life planet in another starry sky. After that, she was chased by fierce beasts and birds. She lived a pitiful and lonely life. Well, to put it simply, she's a stupid and unlucky child. He pointed at Jiang Luo and briefly introduced her. Zhang Luoluo was both embarrassed and angry. Weren't you also swept away by the starry sky tide? What's the difference between your situation and mine? After saying that, she looked at Lin Tian's relatives and friends. She didn't have the casual attitude she had towards Lin Tian. She politely bowed to the group of people and said, "Hello, everyone, I'm Luoluo. Please take care of me." After saying this, her eyes fell on Jiyu, Bai Qiu, and the other women. "Sisters, you are all so beautiful." Jiyu, Bai Qiu, and the other women looked at Zhang Luoluo and couldn't help but smile. After all, no girl would be unhappy to be praised as beautiful. "You are also very beautiful." Jiyu chuckled, pulled Zhang Luoluo over, and said, "Before you go back to your hometown, you can stay with us and treat this place as your home." "Thank you, beautiful sister," Zhang Luoluo said. At this time, her mouth was extremely sweet. That night, a bonfire rose in the depths of the immortal court. Lin Tian returned from the starry sky after 10 years. The group gathered together, and it was very lively. The fragrance of wine drifted far away. "Kid, in the past 10 years, what is your cultivation level now?" "Lord Crocodile can't see through you at all," Wuxing Crocodile asked. Hearing its question, Bai Ziki and the others couldn't help but look at Lin Tian. They were all curious about this. "Oh, early stage immortal realm." Lin Tian on Dao. "What?" As soon as these words came out, except for Zhang Luoluo, who knew Lin Tian's cultivation level, everyone in this place was shocked. "Lord Crocodile has been cultivating hard. It took me 10 years to reach the peak of the Quasi-Emperor from the Half-Step Emperor realm. You have already reached the immortal realm?" Wuxing Crocodile's eyes widened. Chapter 1440. From the early stage of the heavenly venerable realm to the early stage of the immortal realm, there were 9 small realms of the heavenly venerable realm and the Empyrean realm. Lin Tian had crossed the 9 small realms of the heavenly venerable realm and the Empyrean realm and reached the immortal realm in just 10 years. This cultivation speed was shocking. Everyone in the immortal court except Zhang Luoluo was shocked. Even Bai Ziki and Yang Qi, who had always been calm, were no exception. Their eyes flickered violently. "Abnormal as always," Bai Qiu muttered. "Damn monster," Ling Yun added. Lin Tianyi smiled. "I'm just lucky. I've had a lot of adventures." Then, he looked at the people here and said, "I've traveled through the starry sky for 10 years. I've obtained a lot of good things. Let me help you improve your cultivation." As he spoke, his thoughts moved slightly, and he took out some treasured pills and divine medicines from the stone ring. Instantly, the air in this place was filled with a thick fragrance, and there was even an extremely shocking fluctuation of the way that interweaved. "These are?" Seeing these things, Wuxing Crocodile, Ling Yun, and the others were shocked. They didn't recognize these Baodan and divine herbs, but they could feel that they were extraordinary. Xian Essence Pill, Soul Pill, Luo Du Pill, Shadowed Heaven Pill, Green Dragon Dao Ginseng, Thousand Illusion Giran Plant, 9 Flames Dragon Sunflower, Snow Cloud Root. They can all improve the cultivation of Nirvana Realm and Emperor Realm cultivators. Lin Tiandao said, "Refining with these things will help all of you reach the heavenly venerable realm in a short time." These things were taken from the Purple Yang Divine Sect, Xian Luo Immortal Palace, and the Fan family of the remote antiquity. "We can reach the heavenly venerable realm?" Ling Yun's eyes widened. He was now at the 8th sky of Nirvana realm. After refining these things, he could directly reach the heavenly venerable realm. The gap between the two was huge. "Don't worry, it won't be a problem," Lin Tian said with a smile. "It should be enough to help all of you reach the 5th level of the heavenly venerable realm." Yi Tong and Lin Shi were at the peak of the 5th heavenly layer of Nirvana. Jiyu Sushu, Shuiyi, He Jiao, and Fanning Xiong were at the 6th heavenly layer of Nirvana. Bai Qiu, Yin Yamur, Yang Qi, and Ling Yun were at the 8th heavenly layer of Nirvana. Bai Ziki was at the 9th heavenly layer of Nirvana. Wuxing Crocodile was at the peak of the boundary Emperor realm, only a small step away from the Emperor realm. As for the little Taichu, he no longer needs to refine these things. He looked at little Taichu. When he had just returned to the celestial court, He did not pay attention to the little fellow's cultivation level. At this time, when he scanned with his immortal level divine sense, he discovered that the little fellow had already reached the Emperor Void Realm, and was at the early stage of the Emperor Void Realm. This little fellow is too heaven-defying. I've never seen him cultivate at all. If he's not playing, he's sleeping, but his cultivation level is increasing faster than anyone else's. Whooshing Crocodile was a little speechless. This little fellow is very powerful, Jiyu said with a smile. Little Taichu lay on Lin Tian's shoulder and squeaked. It was charmingly naive and cheerful. Although it had been born for so many years, its temperament had not changed at all. It was still like a child, very lovable. Lin Tian smiled and rubbed the little fellow's head. He looked at the crowd and said, "Then, let's begin to refine these bowed-and divine medicines and cultivate. I'll protect you." As he spoke, he looked at Jiang Luoluo and said, "The unlucky child over here, you should also cultivate with us." After spending so much time with Jiang Luoluo and going to so many places together, he naturally would not forget to help Jiang Luoluo improve her cultivation level. The space in the depths of the Celestial Court was very vast. Only the core members of the Celestial Court were qualified to enter. On this day, in this place, Lin Tian took out the Xian Essence Pill, Soul Pill, Luo Du Pill, Shadowed Heaven Pill, Green Dragon Ginseng, Thousand Illusion Garum Plant, 9 Flame Dragon Sunflower, and other Baodan Divine Medicines, and distributed them evenly to Ji Yu and the others for them to refine. As for Jiang Luoluo, because her cultivation level was relatively low, she could not refine these things directly at first. He took out a large pile of Lingjing and other Baodan Divine Medicines and gave them to Jiang Luoluo. Speaking of which, according to what you said, your family seems to be stronger than the Purple Yin God sect. It should have countless heavenly materials and earthly treasures. And from the fact that your Eternal Realm great-grandfather could personally refine protective precious weapons for you and take you to play in the starry sky, it is enough to show that you should be very favored in your family. Since they dote on you so much and have such a strong foundation, they should be able to push you to the immortal realm. Why are you only in the flight realm? Lin Tiandao had always been curious about this question. Jiang Luoluo rolled her eyes and said, "The stronger the inheritance of the family, the stricter the requirements for the descendants. How can they directly use Lingjing, Baodan, and divine medicines to improve the cultivation of the descendants? This has nothing to do with whether I am favored or not in the family. Directly using Lingjing, Baodan, and divine medicines to improve the cultivation of the descendants is not good for the inheritance and continuation of the family at all." "Oh, I see." Lin Tian understood. Thinking about it, Jiang Luo's words made sense. Directly using Lingjing, Baodan, and divine medicines to improve the cultivation of the descendants was not good for the inheritance and continuation of the family at all. He did not say anything more and let the group begin to cultivate. He and the little Taichu stood on the side to protect them. The group did not hesitate and immediately began to practice their cultivation methods and began to refine the Baodan divine medicines given by Lin Tian. Suddenly, the group's essence, qi, spirit, and cultivation levels rose rapidly. Time flew, and a month passed. Boom! On this day, a clap of thunder sounded in the depths of the Celestial Court. Jiang Luoluo stepped into the immortal realm and attracted the immortal tribulation. Continue to cultivate. Don't be distracted. I will handle the heavenly tribulation. Lin Tianandao. As he spoke, he flicked his finger, and a golden light shot into the sky and shattered Jiang Luo's heavenly tribulation in the sky. Jiang Luoluo successfully ascended to the immortal realm and then continued to cultivate seriously. The essence, qi, and spirit she exuded increased rapidly. At the same time, Ji Yu and the others cultivated seriously. The aura outside their bodies also increased rapidly. Just like that, it did not take long for the group's cultivation levels to break through again and again. Buzz! Divine lights of different colors intertwined in this space. The Tao light was very dense. In the blink of an eye, a year passed quickly like sand between fingers. During this year, the group did not cultivate all the time. Instead, every time they broke through a small level, they would rest for a few days before continuing to cultivate. Finally, on this day, they finished refining the Baodan divine medicines given by Lin Tian. Everyone's aura became extremely powerful, and there was a powerful heavenly venerable aura around them. It was very shocking. Chapter 1441. In a year, everyone had reached the 6th level of the heavenly venerable realm. Even Jiang Luoluo was no exception. It was a magnificent feat in this year. Jiang Luoluo had received the most help from Lin Tian. After all, she was only in the airborne realm at the beginning. In terms of cultivation foundation, she was far from Ji and the others. 6th level of the heavenly venerable realm. Whooshing Crocodile laughed. It took more than 10 years to reach the peak of the quasi-emperor realm from the half-step emperor realm. Now, in just 1 year, she has reached the 6th level of the heavenly venerable realm. This is simply awesome. It is indeed awesome. Fan Xiong echoed. He had the barbarian king physique. He was burly and straightforward. At this time, he was as excited as Whooshing Crocodile. In just 1 year, Lin Tian had used many miraculous Baodan and divine medicine to push their cultivation from the Nirvana realm to the 6th level of the heavenly venerable realm. It was impossible not to be excited. Even Ji and Yin Yabur, who were usually indifferent and elegant, couldn't help but sparkle in their eyes. Kid, do you have any other good things? Ling Yun smiled and stared at Lin Tiandao. Hearing what he said, Whooshing Crocodile also looked at Lin Tian. Yes, do you have any good things? Take them out quickly. They had fought side by side with Lin Tian. They were all friends who had gone through life and death together. Naturally, they would not be polite to Lin Tian. There was no need to be polite at all. Of course. Lin Tian smiled. As he said that, he raised his hand. Suddenly, more than 10 precious weapons appeared. They were all intertwined with divine light and divine runes. In an instant, the place was directly shrouded by more than 10 murderous auras. The space was distorted. These are? Looking at these precious weapons, everyone was shocked. Even the calm by Ziki and Yang Qi were no exception. Eternal weapon, level precious weapons. Lin Tiandao. These eternal weapons were obtained from the Xian ancient planet. At this time, he took them out and distributed them to everyone. Thank you, brother. Lin Shi jumped to Lin Tian's side and held Lin Tian's arm. Lin Tian had helped them rise from the Nirvana realm to the Empyrean realm, and even gifted them an eternal weapon. He had truly given them a lot. Silly girl, why are you thanking your brother? Lin Tian smiled and flicked Lin Shi's forehead. After that, he took out some magical powers and secret arts. There was the purple-derived celestial canon of the Purple Yang Divine Sect, the Xian Luo Sutra of the Xian Luo Celestial Palace, and the Fan family of the Ancients Brahma Flame Sutra. All of them were genuine celestial-level ancient sutras. He gave them to Baiziki, Ling Yun, Fan Xiong, and the others to study. They would be of great use to them. As for Bai Qiu, Ji and the other girls, there was no need to study these ancient sutras. They either cultivated the Taiyin ancient scripture or the medicine code, which were created by the 9 most ancient peerless celestial masters in the 10 directions heavenly domain. Their levels were very high. Although he did not know what level of ancient sutras they were definitely far beyond the genuine celestial level. You've been wandering the starry sky for 10 years. You've gained a lot. You even got an eternal weapon and a genuine celestial ancient sutra. Whooshing Crocodile looked at Lin Tian and clicked his tongue in surprise. Lin Tianyi smiled and said, "There are other good things." "There are more?" Whooshing Crocodile stared at him. "Of course," Lin Tian said with a smile. As he said that, he raised his right hand and took out a cauldron. It was surrounded by genuine celestial qi and immortal Tao Dharma. It was the Fan family's Brahma Flame cauldron on the Xian ancient planet. It was a genuine celestial artifact. This is a genuine celestial artifact. Upon seeing the Brahma Flame's true immortal pagoda, everyone, with the exception of Jiang Luluo, opened their eyes wide. Yes, a genuine celestial artifact. Lin Tian nodded. With a wave of his right hand, the Brahma flame cauldron, a genuine celestial artifact, disappeared into the immortal Emperor Pagoda of the Immortal Court. In an instant, wisps of genuine celestial chi and immortal Tao Dharma appeared in the Immortal Court. It was shocking. This is... Ling Yun's eyes widened. He was really shocked. Then, he looked at Lin Tian. Seeing the faint smile on Lin Tian's face, Ling Yun's heart skipped a beat. He said, "Look at you. Do you have more good things?" Lin Tianyi smiled and said, "More or less." With a wave of his hand, he took out several 100-inch-long dragons, 2 spiritual energy dragon pearls, and a spiritual celestial pond. Rich spiritual energy instantly intertwined in this place, turning it into a spiritual energy ocean, causing everyone to tremble. This, Ling Yun and the others were shocked. With a single glance, they could tell that these were divine veins that Lin Tian had compressed using a special method. Hundreds of divine veins, the value of these divine veins was astonishing. The 2 spiritual chi dragon balls and the spiritual celestial pool were even more shocking. They felt that any one of them was worth hundreds of thousands of divine veins, or even more. Where did you get so many treasures? Wuxing Crocodile trembled. Well, I got them from a few top inheritances on the Imperial planet in the center of a stellar region. Lin Tian smiled and said. Then he used the dragon burial scripture to place hundreds of divine veins, spiritual celestial pool, and 2 spiritual chi dragon balls in the depths of the Immortal Court. They became the foundation of the Immortal Court. In an instant, the density of spiritual chi in the Immortal Court doubled. The immortal soldiers and immortal generals of the Immortal Court were shocked. The density of spiritual chi seems to have increased a lot in an instant. What is going on? It must be the Immortal Emperor who strengthened the foundation of the Immortal Court. Yes, it must be so. The Immortal Emperor came back a year ago, and now the spiritual chi in the Immortal Court has suddenly increased. It must have something to do with the Immortal Court. Many immortal soldiers and immortal generals were discussing, and many of their eyes were shining. In the depths of the Immortal Court, Lin Tian used the dragon burial scripture to bury hundreds of divine veins, 2 spiritual chi dragon balls, and a spiritual celestial pool. Then, he used his immortal realm cultivation to set up more profound dragon formations under the Immortal Court. He adjusted the foundation of the Immortal Court so that the spiritual chi emitted from the foundation was even denser. It only stopped after half an hour. At this time, the spiritual chi in the Immortal Court was even denser than half an hour ago. It was like a small immortal realm. In terms of the foundation of inheritances, I don't think any place in the stellar region can compare with this place. Jiang Luoluo said. Her family was a top force in the eternal ancient stellar region. There were many experts in her family, but in terms of the foundation of inheritances, it was far from being comparable to this place. This spiritual chi fluctuation is simply... Everyone was shocked, and they were all extremely surprised. Lin Tian smiled and said, "All right, don't be surprised." In fact, he still had nearly 1,000 divine veins in his stone ring that he hadn't buried under the Immortal Court. He wanted to keep them for other purposes. At this time, he looked at the group of people and said, "In a year, you have all advanced a lot. Don't do anything else now. Go into seclusion for a while and stabilize your cultivation base." Well, that's the main point. We do need to go into seclusion to seriously sort out and stabilize our cultivation base. Wuxing Crocodile said, "Stepping into the heavenly venerable realm from the Nirvana realm in a year was a bit too fast. At this time, they must immediately go into seclusion to sort out their current cultivation base and stabilize their heavenly venerable realm cultivation base. Otherwise, their cultivation base might be unstable, which would have a very bad impact on their future cultivation path." At this moment, the group of people didn't hesitate. They chatted with Lin Tian briefly and then began to go into seclusion. For a time, only Lin Tian and little Taichu were left in the depths of the Immortal Court. "Little guy, do you want to go to Ethereal Mountain for a walk?" he said to little Taichu. After traveling in the starry sky for 10 years, it has been another year since he returned to the 10 Heavens domain. He had met Lin Shi, Jiyu, and other women, as well as whooshing crocodile and others. At this time, he wanted to see the purple fairy. He knew that although the purple fairy was the lord of the Demon King Palace, she usually stayed in Ethereal Mountain. At the same time, he also wanted to see Wu Yi. When he was in the 10 Heavens domain, Wu Yi suddenly went into seclusion. Now that so many years have passed, he guessed that Wu Yi should have already come out of seclusion. Yeah! Little Taichu nodded his little head and called out cheerfully. Lin Tianyi smiled. Let's go. Gu and the others were in seclusion to sort out their cultivation base. Now they no longer needed his protection. He took a step out of the immortal court and disappeared in an instant. In the next moment, he took the little Taichu and appeared in a mountain range surrounded by clouds and mist. The spiritual energy here was astonishing. It was the ethereal mountain located in the eastern region of the 9th heaven. When he came to this place, he didn't hesitate. He took the little Taichu and stepped directly into the mountain range. Soon after, he arrived at the most magnificent peak in this mountain range. Brother Lin, you're finally back. Come up quickly. Almost as soon as he and the little Taichu arrived at the foot of the main peak, a voice came from the top of the main peak. He raised his head and saw a girl in red waving at him. It was AI. At the same time, there were 2 other people standing behind AI, the purple fairy, and Wu Yi in a white dress. Obviously, the moment he entered the ethereal mountain, Wu Yi and the purple fairy sensed his arrival. Lin Tianyi smiled and stepped forward, instantly arriving at the top of the main peak. AI jumped over at once. After so many years, she was very happy to see Lin Tian again. Lin Tian rubbed AI's head and came to the front of the purple fairy and Wu Yi. Little purple, Wu Yi. He greeted them with a smile. Wu Yi. The little Taichu flew out from his shoulder. Its voice was still childish as it fluttered its wings and came to Wu Yi's side. Wu Yi revealed a light smile. Heaven and earth lost their color as he hugged the little fellow to his chest. Lin Tian looked at Wu Yi's smiling face and was slightly dazed because it was really beautiful. At the same time, this also made him a little envious of the little guy. Wu Yi has always been very quiet and rarely shows any emotional fluctuations. He has never seen Wu Yi smile at other people. It seems that only the little guy can receive such treatment. Brother Lin, your eyes are almost falling on Wu Yi. The purple fairy smirked. Lin Tian suddenly felt a little embarrassed and couldn't help but cough twice. The purple fairy smiled even more happily. She floated over and circled Lin Tian twice, looking up and down at Lin Tian. Then, a ray of light flashed in her eyes, and she was slightly surprised. Not bad, Brother Lin. After 10 years, your cultivation has already surpassed Ling Er's. As she spoke, she smiled and hugged Lin Tian's neck like a child from behind Lin Tian. She said, it's your turn to protect Ling Er in the future. P.S. Oh, I saw a question in the book review section. Why could Heavenly Venerables see that little Tian is a reincarnated being, but now people stronger than Heavenly Venerables can't see at a glance? About this question, I explained in chapter 1325. It's because little Tian used a special method to hide his origin after reaching the Heavenly Venerables level. After that, unless one uses divine consciousness to probe his origin, no one can see that he is a reincarnated being. Then a book friend asked about making up for the chapters. This dragon didn't forget. He owed a total of 5 chapters, so he will definitely make up for it. Here, please give Dragon some time and make up for it by August this year at the latest. Dragon has been preparing for the driver's license test recently, and he has to spend some time training every day. Time is indeed a little tight. Everyone, please forgive me. For the latest novel update, please visit that you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.